So, all right, we're recording now. So those are the two Facebook Messenger groups. Now, there are other Facebook Messenger groups that are out there. I know Sherry's got one. I know Tina Marie's got one. I know a lot of different people have a lot of different ones out there. It is completely fine to have a lot of these. Some people get overwhelmed by the number and they get frustrated with that. So what I want to tell you is there's a lot of newspapers out in the world. You don't have to read all of them. Read the ones that you want to read. Don't get mad at the newspaper company for producing the newspapers, okay? So it is something that you can choose to consume. It is not something that you are forced to consume. Well, Casey, it's always going off and it's dinging and making a lot of noise and there's just so much chatter and somebody says happy birthday and then 400 people say happy birthday and it irritates me. Okay, here's what you do. There's a mute button that you can put. You can turn off the notification for that. So if you don't want to see that, then don't. Well, I don't want to sit there and read everything. Don't sit there and read everything. It's completely fine, okay? So the information's out there. Now, if you don't do that, don't come back and say, well, I didn't see the information. I didn't know there's too much stuff that goes through. Because we've got a solution for that too, okay? So there is another communication channel that I use, and it's called text messaging, SMS text messaging, okay? And so what this is you have to subscribe to this, and it is a direct channel from me to the subscribers of that. And on that, I push out information that's going to be about events. I let you know that there's events coming up or some special call, or I mentioned that this Road to Jade was happening on there. I mentioned the DFYs are on there. It is a way to get just clear information on that without all of the extra chit chat that goes on. And here's how you get that. If you will go to your text messaging app and you will text to the phone number 46786. And if you will send the message TF Houston to 46786 and hit send, then in about 2 seconds, you're going to get a reply from that that says, if you want to subscribe, send the Y character for yes, okay? If you do that, then you will get on the text messaging system, okay? If you're not on that yet, I'd like for you to go ahead and take the time right now and do that because I'm getting ready to send some information out to everyone, and this will be perfect for you to be able to test it and see how that works, okay? So I'm going to talk for a little bit more, and while I'm talking, you can go ahead and do that. Make sure you send that, and in about 2 minutes, I'm going to send out this text message so that you'll have the files that we're looking at. All right, with that said, the reason that we have those chat channels is because we're a very large organization that literally spans across the world, okay? We've got people in Costa Rica, we got people in British Columbia, Canada, we got people in Florida, we got people in Australia, and everywhere in between, okay? And so to do that, you got, if you're in any type of office setting or you're working anywhere, there are times where you want to be able to communicate with other people. And in this type of business, it can feel lonely sometimes because we're not in the same office space. We're not running into each other every day. What's really nice about this is this will allow you the opportunity to be able to communicate with people. We've got lady Betty Harrison. She's up in, she's in British Columbia. Sweetest lady you will ever meet. I love Betty. She's awesome. And being able to communicate with her, it allows her to feel like she's right here in the mix with everybody. So that makes it really nice. Okay, so that's why we have these channels. That's why there's a lot of chatter on there. And then again, we've got this text messaging portion for people that don't want that. And they just want the info. All right, I'm gonna send this text message out real fast. So you can see behind the scenes how this goes. And you should get a text message here in a few seconds. The document that you're going to see when it comes through is the recipe book. And many, many thanks to Mr. David Jones and Ms. Tara Bush for being the brain power behind it that went and did all of this. It's funny, people will look at something like this and go, well, that's easy to do. Well, it's also easy not to do, and we've never done it. And it was a great view into, hey, something's missing, we need this, and they went and did it. They didn't just say, somebody should go out there and do something. Well, guess what? They just went ahead and did it. So what you've got here is a Welcome to the Jade Factory starter guide, okay? And this is great for new business partners. This is a helper document, okay? I'm not gonna go through this helper document because you can read. I'm gonna go through a presentation that's going to show you how to do basically all the items that are behind the scenes of what this document's helping. So this is a helper guide to what I'm getting ready to train you on, okay? It's gonna talk about welcome to the team, who we are. It's gonna talk about the plan on the page, and then different things for becoming your own first customer. How do you stay up to date? Some of those groups I was just talking about, Facebook groups, events that are happening, all these different types of items that are on here. But what I'm gonna focus in on in this Road to Jade is specifically this document here, which is the plan on a page, okay? And then you've got a lot of extra helper scripts. And not that I'm a huge script fan, scripts are good for role playing. Scripts are good for doing what if simulations, what if scenarios to say, well, what would you say here if that happened? Okay, there's no, we were talking about martial arts earlier. You go to martial arts class and you study and you go real slow motion, and you practice somebody slowly punching at your face, and then you slowly push their arm aside and you do these things in slow motion. Okay, it's cute and adorable when you're doing it. If you go out into a street and you get in a street fight, I promise you're going to get your butt whooped if you're doing it like that. Okay, so you don't have time to say, wait, would you please stop, throw with your right hand to my left shoulder so that I can practice my move. That's all I practice. That's not how it works in real life, okay? And it doesn't work when you're talking with people that way. But it is absolutely invaluable in being able to get the muscle memory and get the body moving in that direction so that you know what you could say and get an example of it. Now, this isn't martial arts, okay? This is talking with human beings. You've been doing it for a long time. You are completely and utterly equipped to be able to kill this business and help a whole bunch of people. And so don't let anything get in your head, and don't let that slow you down. Okay, so that's the document that we just sent out, and I wanted you to have that so that you would specifically have the plan on a page, because that's what we're going to use today in the session, and you would have the other documents that you can read and go over on your own, and then get with the person that brought you into the business or with your upline leader to be able to get more information into the individual pages where it's fill in the blank and you don't know the answers, okay? All right, so with that, let me switch back over to our presentation and let's go through this. So what we're gonna mainly focus on, and while there's a lot of helper documents, there's a lot of great additional information that's running around all over the place. There's videos, there's doctor notes, there's just a gazillion different pieces of information that are out there. I want to simplify this so that you're not overwhelmed and you know exactly what are the steps to do. And that's what this training is all about. So the first thing that we're going to focus on today, and what you need to focus on every day that you're doing this, is your why. Why did you get started? Okay. This page that I'm going over right now on the slideshow is going to give you an overview so that you get a feel for what it is we're going to go over today. We're going to talk about your why. You're looking for more money, more time with the family, significance, time freedom, going out to play golf, whatever you want to do. We're going to talk about your list. People that you know, like Al, Bob, Chuck, Dave, Ed, Francine, Gina, Henry, Iris, Jasmine. Those are the ABCs all the way to J, by the way, too, if you're wondering where that came from. And then once we know all of these individual people on our list, we're going to go through with Al, we're going to do these 3 steps. And then we're going to go to Bob, and we're going to do these 3 steps. We're going to go to Dave, and we're going to do these 3 steps. First step we're going to do is we're going to build rapport. What is that, Casey? That's you shaking hands, saying hi, and talking to your friend. It's how you build trust with people. Next thing that we're going to show you how to do is to pique their interest. Getting them curious enough that they want to ask questions about what it is we're doing. And then when they ask what we're doing, we're not going to tell them. We're going to connect them to a person that can tell them. We're going to edify that proof person, and we're going to pass the ball. And I'm going to dig into each one of these in some very good detail so that you're crystal clear on what we're doing at each one of these steps. So first thing we want to do is let's orient yourself with this plan on a page. Again, this is what was just sent out, and you could download it off of that PDF. You'll be able to see it. You can also see that this is not very high tech. This is not very difficult to grab a piece of paper if you don't have this file and recreate this pretty darn quick, okay? And for y'all that are here, there's some sitting on the counter right there. So let's look at the main parts of this. The first box that you have up on the top is your why, your desires, okay? And what goes in this box is the most important thing that you can do in your business. And I mean that. I've been doing this for close to, actually it's right at a decade now. I've been doing this for a decade. I was with another company. I was in the top 350 out of 350,000 people in that company, top 0.1%. I got my wife retired. We upgraded life, whole bunch of cool stuff, trips, vacations, house improvements, new houses, new cars, new toys. A lot of good stuff happened in our life as a result of this industry, of this profession. So we learned a few things along the way. If you do anything for a decade, hopefully you've gotten better. Hopefully you don't suck as bad as you did the first day, okay? If you do after 10 years, then you might need to change what you're doing, all right? And if you are here for that reason, welcome. We love having you here. So I say all of that to say I'm bringing a lot of experience to the table and a lot of innovation that we've done over the years, a lot of stuff that didn't work, a lot of stuff that worked a little bit, and a lot of stuff that worked extremely well. And we put all of that together, and it wasn't like some big bang, all of a sudden this thing popped out. It was a refinement period of having a plan, executing on it, reviewing what worked and what didn't, and adjusting that. What I did in corporate America for 20 plus years was I ran an IT project management office for a $16 billion chemical company. So 42 project managers reported to me. So I got a little bit of an idea on how to make these types of things work. Now, do I know everything? No, not at all. Are there always room for improvement? Absolutely. But if you're just getting started, don't try to fix the system, okay? You might come up with a refinement down the road. The chances of you coming up with a refinement your first day in the business, I'm going to tell you, is zero, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and throw that out there. That might sound cocky. I don't care. It's the truth, okay? So follow first, then lead. That's what I tell everybody. And you can ask all of my leaders that I listen and I make adjustments to what they offer me, okay? So it's not that I don't listen. I use a good quote from Kobe Bryant, Hall of Fame, won many, many national championships, the Olympics and basketball. The dude's a beast. And they were at a news conference at the Olympics, and they'd just gotten done, and they smoked whoever it was that they were playing. And the guys asked the interviewer saying, "Are you enjoying playing with these guys?" "Yeah, they're great guys, loving it." He says, "You learning anything from them?" He kind of smirked and he laughed, and he goes, "No." And they're like, "Well, do you know everything, Kobe, about everything there is to know?" He says, "No, not at all. I just know more than these guys." So again, I'm not trying to be cocky on it. I'm just telling, it's funny when people come in, they want to be able to change stuff. Be a follower first, okay? Learn what the other person has to say, understand it, and you're not going to do that in 2 days.
You did that too when you joined Team Fusion.
I did. I was on 2 magazine covers, and I came into Kyani, and I didn't throw my weight around. I didn't say you need to do this, that, or the other. I sat there for a year and a half and learned everything about what they were doing because I wanted something different than what I already had. What I had got me to where I was. If I wanted to go further, I needed more information, and these guys were crushing it. And I looked at all that, and I followed that, and I put all that, and then I saw everything I was going to see out of that. I still listen. I still attend all of those things with Team Fusion, but I took all of the good stuff that they've got. I got rid of the things that I didn't think was serving, and I put all of that together, and here you're looking at yet the next incarnation and the refinement of what it is that we do. And what's cool is it works. And it's documented that it works, and it's exploding. And that's what we've got, and that's what we're teaching. So all of that preamble to let you know that out of everything you're going to do in this business, this first box on the top of the plan on the page, your why, your desires, is the number one most important thing that you're ever going to do in this business. If you're not crystal clear on this, then you are not going to succeed in this business, not to your ultimate one. You've got to be crystal clear in what your desires are. You have to know where it is you want to go. One of the analogies I use, and I use this often, and it's a really good one because it applies not just to Kyani, but it applies to everything. And that is, if you're going on a trip, let's say that we're now currently in Cypress, Texas. That's where we're sitting here. I see some folks who are all around Houston on the line as well. If you wanted to go on a trip to Miami, then that's your destination that you want to go. A lot of people say, well, I want to go travel. And when you say you want to go travel, it's a word, it elicits some thoughts in your head, but it's not a specific destination that you've got in mind. It's a generic concept. And when you have a generic concept, it's not as appealing. It won't pull you. It won't drive you. It won't get you excited as much as, hey, we're going to Disney World. And when you say Disney World, that's a whole different thing instead of we're going on a trip. Go tell a kid, hey, we're going on a trip. Oh, that's cool, fantastic, whatever. And then you say, we're going to Disney World. Now you're going to see.
Good morning, how are you?
And when you see that insanity go off, now you know that you have their attention. You know what their desires are. You know where they want to go. And so you got to do that. I was actually sitting down with a lovely lady yesterday. We were doing a training. She wasn't going to be able to make it tonight. So I set up some time with her one-on-one. And I asked her, I said, what do you want to do? Where do you want? I want to try. She said a lot of things. And then she said travel, and she lit up a little bit. And I said, where do you want to go? She says, I don't know, anywhere. And I sat there and I paused and I said, can you show me on this GPS navigation system on my phone where everywhere is? No, you don't. It doesn't mean as much. We're going on a trip. When are you going? Someday. Someday's that famous day. It doesn't exist. All that is procrastination and you hiding behind the fact that you haven't nailed down specifically what it is we're going to do. And that's okay. I'm not beating up on people. I'm just saying if you want to be successful in this, you got to do that part. And it's a simple thing to do. So we dug in. We found out where she wanted to go. And the first words out of her mouth was Greece. Then she said Costa Rica, and she kept going, no, go back to Greece. Tell me about that. And we started digging in. She starts telling me about the different places that she had been a long time ago, and she wants to go back. And she had this one place, and I can't pronounce it, and I don't remember because I haven't been there. But I was fired up to the point where I was thinking about calling up my travel agent and seeing what was about this place because she was describing the place. I mean, I saw it, my own interpretation of what it was, and it was vivid. She was able to go into excruciating detail on how much, and it was so cool. And we just sat there and kept on with it. So it's so important on this box to fill it out to a level that it's not just that first answer. It's the continuous depiction, the continuous elaboration, digging in, talking about it. We got to the point where we flipped up. We had a plan on a page, and she was writing that in there. We flipped over the page, and we started writing out and planning a trip. She wanted to go for 10 days, and then we figured out which places was she going to go, and then we figured out how much is the flight going to be, and then how much is it going to – you got to eat, so you got to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then you got to stay somewhere. Where do you want to stay? And then you don't want to stay on the street where you have to walk across the street to get to the beach. When you walk out the back door, you want to be on the beach. Okay? Everybody does the one across the street because they settled. Okay? They settled for their beach house. Do you want to settle on your ultimate trip, or do you want to be on the beach? Because what happens right there is the terrorist shows up. We're going to talk about him. The terrorist is your little subconscious here talking to you all the time. And they say, well, you don't need to stay on the beach. I mean, be realistic. It's only 15 more steps to cross the street. And look how much money you would save on that. That's you trying to justify and knock your dreams down. Don't do that when you're writing in this box. This is you having a full permission from me, for whatever that's worth to you, to write in this box what you truly desire, not what you can see on how to make happen. It's a dream. Think back to when you were a kid. You were real good at being able to dream. You were real good at being able to just have, because there was nothing that was holding you back. And then you get into this thing called life, and you do it for 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and it beats up on you. Why? Because that's what life does. And you lose sight of what it is that you want to do, because here's the key part, and this is getting back to the destination idea. You don't know how to get from point A to point B. I want to be an astronaut. That's what you start off with, right? And you don't have that where you got to figure out the path. And then you got some complete jerk parents that say, you should be realistic. And honestly, if you say that to your kids, you're being a jerk. You're absolutely crushing them. I've done it until I realized, and I'm like, oh man, that sucked. Don't be realistic with a dream. A dream is a dream. It is your why, it's your desire. Your issue is you aren't educated enough on knowing how to get there. You don't know the path to get there. And so to make yourself feel okay about the fact that you don't have the education on how to get from point A to point B, you use the excuse, be realistic. Johnny, nobody's ever done that before. Well, nobody from your neighborhood anyway. People in our family don't do those sorts of things. Why? Because I don't have a clue how to teach you how to do that, Johnny. That's what they're really saying. So when you're doing this, and I'm going to trigger a lot of emotions by talking this way, and I know I'm going to, and I'm doing it on purpose, okay? So if some of these are hitting home, expose that, look at that, think about that, and don't continue that, because that's what's gotten you to where you're at right now. Not saying that's a bad place, but chances are you're not sitting here on a Saturday morning with me because you got everything figured out and you're right where you want to be. So when you're doing the why, let's go back to these destinations I'm talking about. If we want to go to Disney World, that's the first step. Okay. The second step is how are we going to get to Disney World? Okay. Do we have a vehicle or are we walking? Okay. We were talking about this the other day with my wife. My son's going to go to play in a baseball camp training special thing in Stanford in California. First question out of my mouth is, how are we getting there? We driving or we flying? I'm already starting to get my mind wrapped around how we're going to get from point A to point B. That's just how my brain works. She doesn't know yet. Okay, well, this trip is not solidified in my brain yet because we don't know how we're going to get there. I don't know the vehicle that we're going to use to travel. Once we get that, then it becomes more real to me. How are we going to get from here to Disney World? How are we going to get from here to Greece? How are we going to be able to spend $12,700? That's what we broke it down to when we put all the different parts that she was going to need for her trip. It was going to be $12,700 to be able to do this unbelievable, amazing trip. And she was like, wow, that's a lot of money. I said, yep, it is. Or it's a drop in the bucket for one of the most important dreams that's coming out of your brain right now. It's a matter of how you look at it, right? And so you got to know the vehicle. You've got a vehicle here with Kyani, okay? I'll give you an example of why you have to have a vehicle and the importance of it. If I told you, if my wife said, we're not taking a flight, we're not taking the car, we're going to walk. Now, we got 4 kids. One of them just turned 4 months old. The oldest one's 13. We got a 4-year-old and an 11-year-old. We ain't walking. She says that. I just laugh in her face. Y'all are all laughing just at the absurdity of it. We ain't going to Stanford in California if we're walking. That's just not a thing, right? Now, what if there was a invasion and a war that occurs and it's going from east to west and it's about at Louisiana and we become refugees and we can't use our vehicles for any way? Are we walking? You're damn right we are. You know, it's a matter of viewpoint. It's a matter of what's going on in the circumstances. How important is it to you to get there? You might walk, but obviously taking a vehicle is a whole lot better. Okay. Now let's say that I tell all of y'all that we're going to Disneyland. Everybody, yay, that's great. All right. And then I tell everybody, hey, we're also taking the Jade Factory jet. Got a G500. We're going to go ahead and take that. Everybody's like, okay, that's pretty cool. What time do we need to be at the tarmac? You ain't going to be late to that meeting. You might be late for donuts, but you ain't going to miss that. You ain't going to miss that plane, right? It's serious to you. So you get there and we're walking up the little ramp and we're getting into the plane and then you turn right to go sit down. I said, whoa. Why are you turning to the right? Turn to the left. You're flying the plane today. You're flying us to Disney World. You and me and the kids and everybody. You're driving. We going to Disney World? Nope. You say, well, that was fun. And you walk right back off of that, get in your car, you go to the house. Why? Because you don't know how to fly the plane. You could have the greatest vehicle in the whole wide world. You can have a jet sitting right there, $200 million airplane. But when you got to fly it and you don't know how to fly it, it just sits there on the tarmac being a big old bunch of nothing. Doesn't provide any value. So many people will get started in this business. They will buy themselves the Maserati, a Lamborghini, Ferrari Testarossa. You've got the greatest vehicle to be able to get you from here to your desire. But if you don't know how to drive it, you might as well have just lit fire to your money that it cost you to get started. You would be maybe you wouldn't be, but I am constantly amazed at the number of people that do that. And then they just poof, like aliens abducted them, man. I mean, they're gone. They won't return your phone calls. They won't do what they say they're going to do. Let me tell you exactly what the reason for that is. It's the same reason that you're going to walk right back off that airplane. Is it's fear. It's fear of not knowing how to fly the vehicle. People get in this. Maybe you're so determined that you're going to get to Disney World. So determined that you're gonna at least, I'm gonna turn the switch on this thing and see what some of these buttons do. And what do? You almost kill yourself and everybody else. Some of you are like, we'll read the manual later when we're in the air. We'll figure it out. Let's just go do this. And they go out and they do the best that they think they can do, the best that they got. It doesn't matter that their intentions were pure. They're a nice person. They just don't know how to fly the plane. And what do? They crash and burn if they do take off. And then they say, this doesn't work. It's like saying the airplane doesn't work because you crashed it. No, you don't know how to fly the damn thing. Okay, so what we're here to do is show you step by step the manual on how to do it. Now, whenever you look at a manual, let's say you're looking at a video camera or something like that, or maybe your phone. Have you ever looked at the instruction manual on your phone? They've got the short 2-page version, and then they got the 37-page version that's in 14 different languages, right? What do you typically do? Well, some of you sit there and some of you are going to sit there and read through the entire manual, or you can look at the quick start portion. This page is the quick start portion. This is the plan on the page. And what we're going to do is this training that we're doing today is going to go through each of these steps so that you know, here's how you do it. Now, can you dig into this thing and go very, very deep? Could I actually do a 10-hour session on each one of these boxes? Absolutely, I could. And there's enough material out there that I have. But what you need to be able to get started is this understanding right here, and you'll be able to operate this vehicle. You remember when you drove the very first time? Do you remember? I mean, some of you that was a couple years ago, some of you that's been a lot longer, right? I still remember the feeling, the excitement, the view out the dashboard, looking out over the dashboard, out the windshield. I remember that feeling because that was one of the hugest moments, because that was true freedom for us at that time. And you also remember how scared you were. You had your hands on 10 and 2. You adjusted that mirror 14 times. You had the radio down. Maybe you had it up for a little bit, and then you got a little freaked out and you turned it down. You had the air conditioner just set right. It was insane what you would go through. Now, do you remember driving today or yesterday? Do you remember how little you paid attention, to the point that you probably drove somewhere around 30 miles and you do not remember any of that trip? And if you happen to be working on a hands-free device on your phone talking, you teleport from wherever you were when you started that phone call to where you were when you ended up. I did that the other day, and I'm like, how the heck did I get here? Because I was so intent on the conversation, but it just becomes second nature. Pilots right now, it's second nature. They go through their checklist, but they know all this stuff. They can repeat it in their sleep. And that's where we're going to get you. Right now, you're like 10 and 2. How do I not crash this thing? Right? When you get done with this and you do it for a little bit, it becomes second nature. So the why is so important for you to be crystal clear on what it is. Dig into that. Keep digging. Keep asking yourself, why is that important to me? I want to go on a trip. Why is that important to me? Well, because I remember going on with my mom. Well, where'd you go? I went to Greece. Why was that important to you? And then you get into that and you start remembering, and you have these ideas that are in there. They've just been covered up. So spend some time on filling that out. The next one that we're going to do is then we're going to fill out a list of names. Then you see on here, and I'm going to go into each of these in their own sections, but just to orient you again, and I wanted to knock out the why first. So the names, we're going to fill out the names, a bio and phone number. This is a bio and phone number about the person. This is how do you know them. Then on the rapport side, it's going to be what is it that they're looking for. And there's some check boxes there: wealth, health, time, charity, significance. And there's 2 lines there that you can fill out some stuff. And then there's the peak box, which is, do you want to fix that? Yes or no. And then there's edify and pass. And who are you edifying? and passing your prospect to, and then did you actually complete that step? And then notice that it just repeats itself over these 5 columns. Okay, so let's break this down. Your wise desires, fill that out. We just spent a lot of time talking about that. If you haven't yet, go ahead and take a few minutes, and I want you to write down your desires. And I also want some of you to share those with us, not just me, but with the group. And I do this periodically, and I do it on purpose because this is uncomfortable for some of you, and I want you to be a little uncomfortable, and I want you to take action. I want you to get clear on this, and I want you to be confident enough to be able to share what it is that you desire. Because if you won't share it out loud with others, then it's not fully baked in your head. This is a process too. You're not going to write this one time and be done with it, okay? I've never met a single person that's ever written it one time and then that was the thing that they focus on. It always changes. Why? Because we create our days differently every single day. New things occur, new ideas come up, new inspiration. You get more information, you learn new things. That's going to be changing all the time. So fill that out for me. And we're going to take a moment here to do so. And then in about 60 seconds, I'd like for somebody to volunteer what they have filled out on their page.
Can you hear me, Casey?
I got you, Michelle. How are you?
I'm good. I'm on my computer and my phone.
Nice work. She wants to get a double.
So I can get up and help customers and do what I need to do.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So just so everybody knows, Michelle runs her own business. She's open 7 days a week, and she's making it happen while she's at her place of business. That is awesome. I appreciate you jumping on with us.
Absolutely. I'm glad I could.
Did you want to share your why box, what you got in your desire box?
I do, because I filled it out yesterday, and this is what I came up with it yesterday. For one, number one, security. I need financial freedom. I need to be debt-free. I want to be able to help my friends and my family with their health and their wealth, whether I can or not, whether it's my decision. If I want to do it, I want to be able to do it. I don't have to ask anybody. I don't need to report to anybody. I don't need to consult with anybody. It's going to be my decision. Personal growth, the camaraderie of the group as a whole. I want to travel, and I want options. And I want to retire if I desire to do so, but I don't see myself retiring anytime soon because I love what I do.
Very, very good stuff. Very good stuff. I want to point out something that when she was sharing that, when you first started, everything that you wrote in there is so awesome. It's really, really good stuff. So here's what I want to do for you to go a little bit deeper. And you did it in the middle. You started off talking about some of the cool things that everybody wants to be able to do. Being able to take care of the family, be able to take care of your stuff, do it. But then you shifted down into another gear. And you started talking about, and everybody felt it. A couple people here, their head went up. They started shaking their head yes, because they started feeling it. The first stuff you were saying was not eliciting any type of emotion out of the group. But when you started doing it and you got in there and you heard the change in your voice, and you were fierce, you were getting ready to come out and just say, look, this is who I am. This is what the hell I'm doing. Deal with it. That's what I felt when you were saying that. It's like, she's feeling it. She's getting it. And that is the part that you want to touch here, because it's real easy to fill this box out, right? You can put little words and stick figures in there and all kinds of stuff. But what you hit there in the middle, hit it. You touched it. I call it touching the source. When you do that, it's like you're touching electricity. The hair on your arm stands up. I've got goosebumps right now all over because you were hitting it. When you hit that middle part, that's what you're looking to do. If you don't get the hair on your arm standing up, then you haven't touched it, and you got to go deeper. And this is not an easy thing. This is where this is a refinement. You've got to keep digging in. When you're saying some of the things that you're saying, it's absolutely accurate, but you haven't explored it deep enough. You haven't gone far enough into the cave to see the whole thing and all its wonder. You're just walking through the little entrance cave. You haven't gotten into the big room down there where all the good stuff is. You got to get in there to where it starts opening up, and then you just get this free view, and it's so intense. That's what it needs to be, and you got to keep digging in. A good way to do that, a good exercise, is to keep asking, why is that important? Why is that important? So you had mentioned a couple of things, and I'm not going to go all the way through this with you, because whenever I do this with somebody, you're going to be in tears and I'm going to be in tears, and you're at your place of business, okay? So I'm not going to do that to you right now, Michelle, but do this exercise, because when you go in there and you say, why is that important? And you keep asking that. If you can ask that, and typically you can't go 7 times deep, you'll say something, why is that important to you? And you'll answer that. Well, first thing that pops in your head, and then ask again, why is that new thing important to you? And you keep going with that, and if you're honest with yourself, you will get to the source. You will get into that cave. You will get in there where you don't let too many people in, and then it gets serious. Then you know you got it. Then it's I must make this happen. There is no other choice. When you touch that, then you've got your why. Then you've got your desire. Okay? Anybody?
Yep.
Say again, Michelle?
I said, I got it. It's already there. I need to write it down while I'm feeling it at the moment, because it passes. And that I've learned that in the past. You need to write down what you're feeling when you're feeling it, because if you don't, that feeling passes, and then the reason that you're doing what you're doing kind of passes too.
It sure does. It's still there. It didn't just disappear, but it gets covered up with all the nonsense. It covers up with all the extra BS in the day. And you start focusing on the stuff that's right here in front of you, that you got to take care of this, and you got to take care of this, and you got to take care of this. I got to do this. I got to make dinner. I got to, get everybody off to school. I got to do all these different things. And when you do all of that, next thing you know, it's time for bed. You get up and you do it all over again. And then you wake up and you're 40 years older than you were when you first had that dream. So if you don't focus on that, I promise you, the world will keep you busy. You will not be bored, but you will be doing what you don't truly desire to do if you don't make this a priority. Brushing your teeth, for most of you, is a priority. Eating at some point in the day is a priority. Getting sleep at some point in the day is a priority. These are things that must happen. You don't have to reach your desires. The world is full of people that don't. The graveyard is full of so much potential of people that never did anything that they truly wanted. When you're sitting on your deathbed, did you do what you wanted to do or not? Most people don't. Honestly, they don't. Well, Casey, their situation was so different. Bullshit. Plain and simple. Everybody has got crap in their day. Everybody has their struggles. As Jim Rohn said, the wind blows on all of us. It's, did you set your sail or not? This is setting your sail. So you got to know, when you're in the little boat out in the big ocean of life, and you're right here at this point, do you know where you want to go? Do you know your destination? If you get that clear, awesome. If not, you'll see a lot of people out there, they're in their little boat and they do not have their sail set up. The sail is down and they're just drifting in the current. They're letting the events of the day, the current, push them around. And they say they have no control over that. When you don't have your sail set up, that is a true statement. You can let that push you all around. Or you can set your sail, set your course, and this is what y'all are doing right now. Now, if you set your course going, it'd be nice to go over there, and then that current is tough and it's blowing against you, you're like, I don't really want to go over there. We'll just go wherever the current takes me. I was really just bumping my gums. I just want to, it sounds good to take care of my family and go do the things I want to do. That's all well and good. But when you, hello there. She makes such an entrance. That's awesome. Ta-da. But if you're in your boat and you haven't set, I am going over there, there's coconuts on that tree. I'm starving, I'm thirsty, I'm out in the salt water. I haven't had a drink of water in 2 days. I haven't eaten in 4 weeks. I will get to that island or else. You set your sail, you get out of the boat, you start kicking, you're doing whatever you got to do to get that boat where you want it to go. Michelle just touched that source, that raw primal, this is going to happen or else. You got to touch that. When you touch that, it's already easy. This just makes it so much easier. Anybody else want to share? Thank you, Michelle, for sharing yours. Chanel, how about you?
Why did I know I was next? I just felt it. I felt it inside of everything. I was like, what? He's going to call me. He's going to say something. No, I wanted to add on and share something that you guys didn't know last night, and why my reason why is so my push, my drive. And my reason why was to leave behind a legacy for my children, to give them something that my parents worked so hard for and struggled to get me there, but just couldn't necessarily do. Everybody makes mistakes in life, and to change those and actually start believing in yourself and actually going and reaching for something that you know for a fact is a beautiful opportunity and to be a part of is my grasp to Kayani. And as few people may know, because not everybody knows me, one of the biggest things for me was I felt like I need to make sacrifices to make sure that my goals and my children's goals are being met, as well as my husband's. One of my reasons why was getting my husband out of the truck. He works 12-hour shifts 6 days a week, and he is completely a family man to the T, but he only gets 1 day off. And I know how detrimental important it is for my 3 sons to have a father figure and for them to come home and say, where's dad? Where's dad? I'm going to see dad. And he can go a couple days without seeing them because by the time he gets in, it's 1 o'clock. By the time they go to school, it's 7. So he's still sleeping. So there's times that he can bypass. And all of that is very serious for me because I'm a family person. As you know, my mother, I just signed her up. There was the need because she has multiple sclerosis. I seen the beauty in that as well, financial. And I wanted to make anybody around me have that security of what I have right now, how I'm feeling. But something that you guys didn't know last night, which I added on to my reason why, I don't have insurance. And I was just in a car accident last week, and I had a bad concussion. Well, last night when I was on the Zoom call, I wasn't going to take no mulligan, no nothing. And I never expressed to anybody, hey, I'm not feeling so good. I got through the whole Zoom call, and my mother is my witness because she called me after. And she said, everything starts spinning. And she was like, Chanel, are you okay? And instantly I ran, and I was very sick, and I started, to vomit. And I want to tell you guys my hunger and my thrive of not missing a Zoom call, not missing out on an opportunity to take key points that you guys are feeding me. Even when I talked this morning, I think to Miss Sherry, when I was on the phone with her, I never expressed that I was ill or sick at that point in time, but the concussion had kind of came back. And I'm still here right now. So you guys do not let anything, that terror or anything try to stop you from reaching what you know is yours. It's already yours. I already claim it all the way to the D. I know the Most High has a reason why I was introduced to Kayani. And I'm going to use this opportunity to not only change my life and my children's lives and my husband's life and my family's life, but somebody else that is in need, you know? And opening the doors and conversations. I listened to Mr. Larry on how easy it was to open up the door. I listened to Tara on how easy it was, that fear of at first going into that gym and not saying, I have that. I have those things. So for all you newcomers, I have a long way to go, but my developmental is still there. Be open and willing to learn from whatever they have to give to you. Don't be afraid to ask questions, because I asked 101, and as you guys know, I'm very long-winded. So learn to shut up sometimes and go ahead and run with it.
I got to tell you, you started off, and it was similar to Michelle's. Everything you were saying was awesome. It was so truthful. It was very, very good information. But it didn't elicit the emotional response that you just hit there in the second half. You downshifted and you let it out. Let that out, all of you. Let that out. Let it out more often. Tell people, be vulnerable, get it out there. Because
right.
It's about transferring energy. And you are transferring energy when you do that. You are creating, you are broadcasting, you are pushing, you are making it happen. That's what's meant by that. And when you're in that state, you are unstoppable. When you're not in that state, you are stoppable. So the key is, how do I get myself in that state more often? People that really kill this thing are in that state while they are awake. Some people touch it once every 4 days, and they have that inspiration and they make that one phone call, and then they go hide for the next 4 days. And they let the wind beat them up. Set your sail and keep your sail up. You just put your sail up when you said that. When you say that, there's no current that can stop you. There is no current that can pull you back. It might capsize you. It might flip you over. You'll just flip it back over, put up a new one, and go again. You got ran into in your car, and that was an obstacle. Life happened. Guess what? It's not the last bit of life that's going to happen. But
right.
You fight through a concussion to sit on the phone with me last night, and other people did not. That's their choice, and it's completely cool what their choice was, because they've got their life going on. I'm just making a statement about what you did, and at that moment, you were touching that source. And when you touch that source, nothing holds you back. That's why I've spent an hour on this topic. Everybody's like, can we get to the stuff, please? Ambi, new age, freaking hippie stuff you're doing here. Get to the good stuff. This is the good stuff. I've heard that when I first got started. I thought it was a bunch of hocus pocus baloney. That's not the exact words I used. But I promise you, now that I've done it long enough and I've experienced it myself, this is the stuff. So focus on that. That will get you 85% of the way there. You can come through this and not know how to do anything else I'm going to show you today. And if you just have that determination and you give it time, it's inevitable. It truly is. You cannot stop that will. That's it. That's all there is to it. We could literally stop the training right now and you would be good to go if you do that exercise. You've got to look at this every day too, by the way. It's like a bath, right? I took a bath yesterday. Do it again. We appreciate it if you would. I brushed my teeth last week. Do I have to do it every day? These sound like children making excuses when they don't want to go do something, right? Are you acting the same way with your life? I don't want to. I got to go to school. I got to go to work tomorrow. Yeah, or you could do something about that. So, all right, you filled it out. Let's talk about this little fella. This is the wind. This is the one this is the current. This is the thing that is the opposite of where you want to go. Because here's the deal. I've been reading this book and this whole series, and one of the coolest things that I got out of it was, if you are to know what success is, you have to know what success is not. If you were the only person on the planet and you were 3'7", would you know if you were tall or short? You wouldn't. But when you hear 3'7", the first thing that you do is you probably think that is short. But you wouldn't know that unless you saw somebody that was 6'7". So to know something, you got to know the opposite side of it. To have success, you got to know the pitfalls of defeat, not having what it is that you desire. Y'all have experienced that already because you don't have it. So you got to experience not having it before you can truly experience having it. Otherwise, it doesn't mean anything. You don't know that a couch is comfy unless you're sitting on the floor. David's sitting over there going, he probably wasn't sitting there going, man, I feel very cushiony right here. My honey is good. But I bet you, Tara, she's sitting here because she's charging her phone, because the desire of having electricity in her phone is higher than it is being comfortable right now. It's kind of funny how, I mean, we make these calls all day long in our lives. We just don't ever pay attention to it. And you guys, Sherry, trying to help as always. That's just great. And she asked, do you want to fix that? And you said, no, I'm good. And she put her pillow back down.
And it's 5 minutes when my butt hurts, she'll grow back.
That is awesome. This is what we do.
Yes.
That is so good. That's going to be another training. We're going to have so many vignettes. This is going to be funny. Okay, back on track. The terrorist. So who is this little fella? That's him. He's out to get you all the time. Okay? Here's some of the things that he does. He is constantly sneaking up on you. He's constantly telling you, you can't do that. He sits right on your shoulder and whispers in your ear. You've never achieved something like that. Someday you might get to do that. You don't have time. You're too busy. What if you fail? What if it doesn't work? Has anybody ever said these words to yourself before?
Yes.
Happens
Absolutely.
all the time. And once you're aware of this little bastard, you see him all the time. The only way you can make something go away is completely confront it. That's all there is to it. You have to just look at it and keep looking at it. And when you do, it just goes away. But if you try to run away from it, he just catches up to you. You can knock him off your shoulder. We do it all the time. And then he just crawls back up on the other shoulder. He typically has you by the back of your neck on your hair. He's got a knife to your throat, and he is driving you and steering you throughout your day. It is your subconscious. It is the part of your brain that was put there, your reptilian brain from millennia ago. It was put there to keep you from getting eaten by bears and lions. Okay? It's there to keep you safe. Yes, don't let the woolly mammoths and the saber-toothed tigers get you. So it's the part of our brain that's there for survival. It was not put into us to get us to succeed in our higher level thoughts of what we want to do. It's there to make sure that you're breathing. It's there to make sure that you are getting food and water and shelter, not freezing to death, not dying from heat stroke. It's there to keep you alive. That's what it's there for. And it is a very powerful force in your body. It's in your nature. It's in your DNA. It's the same reasons that ducks fly south for the winter. All right? It's there to keep you alive. It's your instinct. It's your basic instincts. Now, we are blessed with some extra little parts in our brain, okay? Because without our brain, we're pretty much the same as a horse or a pig or a cow, honestly. I mean, we're talking like on a biological level here. We've got a couple of extra things in our brain that makes us head of the planet. And one of them is that higher level consciousness that we have, the ability to have reasonable thoughts. But it's always fighting against this little fella who is trying to just keep you alive and keep you safe. So whenever there's fear, when you feel fear, is there any other thing you can do with fear other than feel it?
Do it anyways.
Getting down deeper though, what is fear? What is it? Think about it.
The unknown.
Look even more. Is it a thing? Can you point and touch
No,
fear?
it's not a physical.
It's not a physical thing, right?
creation.
It's a concept. And where is that concept at? In our brain. When you see a deer in the woods and all of a sudden his tail goes up, that is the physicalization of fear.
Oh shit.
Something getting ready to shoot me. Something getting ready to eat me. I'm not happy. I'm out of here. Now, was there anything that actually there could have been a predator? There's another thing out there, but it's not fear. It's just another animal. But the interpretation of the deer to the other animal, the interpretation was the fear. Okay? Some people see a house on fire, and that's fearful, right? What do those people do? They run out of the building, right? There's other people called firefighters. What do? They run into the building. That's weird, right?
This is funny.
Do they have fear of that? Maybe, I don't know. So it's not fear because there's a fire. It's your interpretation of it. This making sense?
Mm-hmm.
So the fear is this little guy, this little voice, this little thing that some people walk up to the edge of a cliff at the Grand Canyon. Some people are going, nope, 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 nope. Other people are holding on to a branch looking down so they get a better view. That'd be you. And I'm like, you, and then you freak out. You have a physical reaction. I need to turn this video camera on. This is awesome. So Tara is on the floor now, and now she's laid down to give you an idea of what she does when that happens. And Sherry's over here going, I'm pretty sure I would be leaning out there to get a better look. Right? Can we jump off this thing? Is that allowed?
Not that I'm not afraid. I just do it anyways.
That she just said a key thing. It's not that she's not afraid. She does it anyway. Because there's a payoff for her, and there's a reason why she's doing it anyway. The payoff of Tara looking at that, she does not have the desire to die. She doesn't value the view more than the fear of this little fella talking into her ear. Why are two females completely different in that aspect? Because somebody had something happened in her past, in her environment, in her growing up. She was not born with that.
I was neither. But
And you weren't either. And you had a different experience in your life growing up and going through your path on your little rubber boat out there in the water. And it wasn't, you didn't get capsized on that one, but she did. Something happened in her past that she saw that and go, nope, 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 nope.
Oh.
Now, she might not remember it, but I can
I
get,
do.
and she
Call me
can,
Big Brother.
she can say, boom, we're touching some history here. Big Brother scared the crap out of her in some fashion about heights.
Nowhere.
Don't know what, she just knows it was his fault.
Yep.
Sherry did not run into that same encounter. Huh?
Not true.
What do you mean not true?
Not true. I remember very clearly when I was 4 years old jumping off a 3-meter springboard and landing belly first onto a life ring. And from then on, I was paralyzed about heights and,
Yep.
and would not go near the edge of anything until I got called a chicken and decided to jump out of an airplane.
So another different experience that got us to the point that it's at, because there was one experience that freaked her out, and then there was another experience that was more traumatic and more meaningful to her, and that's why she took the action.
If a chicken can jump out of an airplane and survive and then call me a chicken, hide and watch.
And that right there, and you hear the difference in her voice when she's saying that, because it's that feeling that she has. She owns that. not that it's right or wrong. It's not as good or bad. It is what it is. That's how she is. That's who she is. She confronted it. And a lot of people will confront it. I'll confront it too. And I don't get, there's nothing that somebody's going to tell me that's going to cause me to jump out of a damn airplane. I'm just telling y'all that right now. You can call me whatever the hell you want to call me. You can call me a peacock, unicorn. I ain't jump on a fucking airplane. It ain't happening.
You're watching.
That's how it is. Now, if it's on fire and somebody's got a gun to my head, that's a different story, right? But there's a difference in what it is that's going to take you to do the thing. Everybody's different. Don't try to make yours about theirs. Make it about you. Know you. That's what your why, that's what your desires are all about. And you've got your own version of this terrorist. For some of you, you will jump out of an airplane, but you won't do X, Y, Z. It's just who you are. It's how your thing's wired up. Don't worry about it. Just be aware that it exists. And if you desire to do it bad enough, if there is a drive for it, you will overcome this guy. What happens, though, is most people aren't even aware that he's there and he's the one talking. You're not even aware that there's a voice in your brain right now. Some of you aren't. And all of a sudden you go, what voice is he talking about? That one. And once you get into it, that will mess up your whole day when you finally pay attention to that voice for a little bit. It's like, I might be psychotic. Because you're literally talking to yourself close to 40 to 60,000 times a day. That's a lot of chatter. That is a lot of chatter going on. And that's who's talking to you. So let's get into an exercise. I know you need a scoop. Thanks for coming. So let's get into an exercise here. On your list, you're going to see that there you have your why. And on that piece of paper or on a piece of paper that you could draw this out if you don't have, okay, see, I didn't get the special paper printed out. No. Get a piece of paper, get a sticky, 5 stickies, however you want to do it, and start writing a list of names, okay? You can go left to right, top down, I don't care. Write down 5 names for me. You blocked in?
Oh, I am.
So write down 5 names for me. Now, how many of you immediately put your head down and started writing those 5 names? And how many of you paused and started contemplating? What was the assignment? Write down 5 names. Some of you will sit there and you'll let that little guy jump up on you. We just talked about him for about 15 minutes. We described him, we defined him, and then I gave you a task and you paused and you started thinking. I had to think of somebody's name. I just said write down 5 names. You don't know 5 names? I've put 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 of them on the screen. Use those. But what you do is you sit there and you start thinking. And this is a very important part of the exercise. You can gloss over it and think that I'm just being, quirky or trying to be smart. This is so important, this little lesson here. Because his power over you is his subtlety. You don't even realize he's doing it to you. You're not consciously aware. You're allowing him and the fear mechanism to jump in. Well, what if these people don't want to talk to me? They might not be interested in this business. They might be this, that, and the other. Nowhere in here did I say we were going to use those names for this. The exercise was simply write down 5 names. And unless you thought somebody was going to shoot you if you wrote down 5 names, there's no reason not to do just that. Your terrorist is there for a reason. It's there to keep you safe from perceived threats. Because we've already defined that fear is completely made up in our mind. It doesn't mean that we're not experiencing that. Fear is an emotion. You experience it. But if you pay attention to what it truly is, it is completely made up. Sometimes that fear is a good thing. If you smell smoke and you see fire and you feel the heat, it might be a good idea to leave the premises. I'm not saying that that's not a good thing. Well, it's not real. No, that fire is pretty freaking real, and it's going to burn you. But the burning is a different thing than the fear part. Hopefully this is making sense. Well, he's got a gun pointed at me. I'm not saying that's not something bad could happen here, and that is a good emotion to have, but recognize that it's an emotion. There are other people that will literally look at somebody holding a gun at them, and they'll pull one and point it back at them. That's another way that you could react to it. So write down those names. Make sure you got 5 names. Now, chances are, this is just going on a guess, the names that you wrote were names of people that you know. And you pause for a little bit to think of some. So who are some that are real close to you? But don't prejudge them. I just want you to put the names down. I don't want you making decisions for them. The next box below that, on each of these names, we're going to fill out their bio and their phone number. Well, Casey, I don't have their phone number. Then at least put on there, do you have a way of being able to communicate with them? If not, write down another number. But you can get a hold of them. Maybe you run into them at work, at church. They're a friend, they're a family member, play sports together. You used to play sports with them. Now, the reason that I'm telling you to start writing this stuff down, obviously you know these people or you wouldn't have written their name down. But I want you to write this down because I want you to start focusing on them. It's totally about them. This business is not about you. You will hear this statement quite often. As soon as you write down your why, your desires, and you touch that source and you get yourself, the point of that is to get your body and your mind, your spirit, your soul, everything about you is to get it in alignment and get it into a specific state of being. That fierceness that you heard coming out of Chanel and out of Michelle and out of Sherry, that state, that feeling, that I am going to achieve my goal. As soon as you get yourself into that state, you stop thinking about you. You've got the oxygen mask on you. Now it's time to go help the next person. This is the biggest fallacy that people make in the execution of this business. You are solely going out there because it's going to help you get what you want. You're not paying attention to what the other person wants. I've had so many people have this breakthrough recently, and I'm going to focus on this because I've seen the spark in people's eyes when it happens. And I know when it hasn't happened. When you get this clear in your brain that this is not about you, it is about your friend. You hear those words, but you don't experience them. You don't feel them. You have got to get into this other person's life. I'll give you an example in the reverse. Have you ever had somebody come up to you and start talking with you? Maybe they call you on the phone. This is a good one. They call you on the phone and they ask, how have you been? Joe, so good to hear from you. How have you been? Start talking. I've been doing good, man. Da, 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 da. You don't get 4 seconds into the conversation. They've interrupted you and they start telling you, oh yeah, man, that sounds like what I did last week. And then they start telling you all about their stuff. And you're like, the hell, you called me to just tell me all this stuff? I don't give a damn, dude. I mean, I care, but that was rude. You were asking me about me, and then you just jumped in and started talking about you. You've all experienced that, right? You've all probably done it too. So don't get all holier than thou. Like, yeah, they're a bad friend. You did it too, okay? Here's the deal. Again, built into our physiology, we are selfish beings. We are here in our DNA. We got to have some basic things. Food, shelter, water, those types of things. And then you keep going down Maslow's hierarchy of needs and you get into more stuff and more stuff and more stuff. But when it's all said and done, it comes back to what's in it for me. That's how we operate, typically by default. I have no problem with how we're wired. I'm telling you that if you want to get what was in your box on the top, if you will simply help other people get what they desire, And the more people that you can help get what they desire, you will have everything and anything you could possibly desire. It is the coolest thing ever. It took me a while to get okay with that. I felt like I was being greedy because I was getting something in the end. Oh, I'm just doing this for me. Yeah, I am. I desire to do what I desire to do. We all do. Be cool with that. But the key is the way that you achieve that is by going through and helping the other person first, help them over the goal line, and then you will get everything that you desire. Sometimes it might take a little delay too. Be okay with that. So it's about them. As soon as you get you figured out on the top, on your why, your desires, you need to shut your noise down and you need to start focusing on the other person. That's not easy. I promise you. Some of you is harder for than others. Some people like me take a long time to get there. But it's worth it. Okay, so you filled out the names and the bios and the phone numbers. Now let's get into the next spot. And this is the second most important part. First one is that first box. We spent a lot of time on that. The second one here is the rapport box, finding out what's important to your friend. You know your friend. You know how you know them. Oh, we go to work. Usually when you start talking about them out loud or you're writing, you start writing in their bio box what's wrong with them. Don't put that there. It goes in this box, okay? The bio box is just the basics. It's like what's on their driver's license. It doesn't say all their messed up stuff on their driver's license. This guy's kind of an ass. This guy's not real nice. This guy needs a new tire. We don't put those things on a driver's license. We just say our name, and our address and things like that. That's the bio part. Now, what you feel about this person, what you know about this person, what you think you know about this person goes in the rapport box. So what we're doing here is for us to be able to help the other person, we got to know what they need. Most of us think, I've got a new business. I need a business partner. I need a customer. Let me go over here, talk to Joe, and spew a whole bunch of information to Joe so that Joe will join my business or Joe will become my customer. All of those statements was about you. Joe doesn't care about you. I'm sorry. That's just how it is. Now, he does care about you, but not more than he cares about Joe. Joe cares about Joe the most, cares about you next. Okay? Now, if you can get in a very loving relationship with another person, it is definitely possible to love that person more than you love yourself. You'll see that with parents and children. You'll see people run back into the burning building to get the kid. But for the most part, Joe cares about Joe more than Joe cares about you. So if you come at Joe and say, Joe, I need you to join my business. I need you to spend 125 of your dollars for me. Now, that might not be your intent. Your intent might be, I want to help Joe. Joe's got a blood pressure issue. Joe needs this product. I need to help Joe. What you need to find out is, does Joe want to fix something? Does Joe have a problem? Sherry, just a second ago, offered Tara a solution to a perceived problem. Tara was sitting on the floor because she was charging her phone. Sherry was sitting on a nice comfy couch, saw a pillow, put two and two together, and said, I think Tara might need what I have to offer. She could have just thrown the pillow at Tara. That's what most of y'all are doing. You need this. You're getting blueberries today. You're getting a new business. You're going to get a presentation. You need to know about what I have because I am superior and have vast knowledge about this new thing that I just ran into. Now, that's not what y'all really mean, I hope. Some of you do. But what you're doing is you're wanting to help your friend, but you're going about it the wrong way. You're not going about it in a way that works as well as what I'm going to show you. Can you get results with that? Yes, you can throw the pillow, hit Tara in the head. She picks it up, she sits on it, goes, you know, my butt did hurt. Let me sit on this pillow. And you might get lucky and something might stick. But most of the time, you're going to piss them off that you hit them in the head with the pillow, and they ain't going to sit on the pillow just to spite you. That happens a lot. So you need to do this in a way that's going to help your friend. The way you do that is that you're going to automatically make some assumptions about what's going on with your friend. They've got some health problems. They've got some wealth problems. They've got some time problems, or they got some significance problems. They don't do something that's significant to them. Don't get in fix-it mode right away. Have that as your goal, but your delivery can't be that you're throwing it at them right away. I use the analogy of a pitcher and a catcher in a baseball game. Ultimately, what do we want to do? We want the pitcher to be able to get the ball to the catcher before the batter hits it. That's what we're trying to have happen. But there is a right time for that to occur. Some of you are throwing the baseball at the catcher. You're hitting them in the ear because they're looking over here at the dugout to figure out what the next play is, and then all of a sudden they get a fastball in their ear. They weren't ready for the pitch. They didn't give you permission to throw the ball. Some of you are trying to fix their problem before you get permission to fix their problem. Some of you are fixing a problem that they don't perceive to be a problem. Have you ever had somebody come up to you and start giving you all sorts of lovely advice? And then they get all righteous on you. I'm just trying to help. How does that make you feel? Warm and fuzzy. No, you want to kick them in the head and grab a bat. That's what some of you are doing to your friends on your names list. If you've gone out and tried this. For the people that say, this doesn't work, that's what you were doing. You're basically saying baseball doesn't work because you're throwing a fastball into the catcher's ear all the time. No, wait till the catcher's ready and then throw him the ball. It works beautifully. You're doing it wrong. Let me say this. I'm not going to say doing it right or wrong. The way you're doing it is very ineffective and it doesn't get the results that we are looking for. You can call it whatever you want to. It don't work. This works so much better. So you need to go into it. Now, does the pitcher have an idea of what the catcher is probably going to ask for on the pitch? If they know him well, they do. Others don't have a clue. So what do? They ask, what's the sign? They do give me the next sign. What's the next sign? Okay, I know what that one is. That sounds like a good one. Let's do this thing. Pitcher pitches, catchers catches. Because they're on the same page. You need to find out, now, what can you offer them? What is it that you can fix? Some of you think that you got the best relationship advice on the planet and y'all are giving it all the damn time. If you're qualified to do that and they want that, then you can provide that service to them. Some of you can offer them health, wealth, time, or significance because that's what this vehicle offers. That's what Kyani brings to the table. And you're a conduit. You didn't come up with Kyani. You didn't make the blueberries. You sure as heck didn't come up with the comp plan. I didn't either. You're a conduit. You're a connector. You're connecting your friend with something that could help them with a potential problem. But don't connect it to them until they're ready for it and you know that it's a problem. Now, there's a gazillion different ways that you can find out if they've got a problem. Chances are you have a decent idea. Let's say one of them you know has got a blood pressure issue. Now, they had a blood pressure issue at some point, so it's good information. Do they still have that? You don't know. Well, they just told me 3 days ago that they did. You still don't know. They might have fixed it. Well, it's not very likely. True statement. You might be absolutely accurate, but stop going around guessing and thinking that you know exactly what's going on with this other person. Because I can assure you, 99% of the time, you're wrong. Even if they told you something, they might not have been completely honest with you, and that's not how they truly are. Have you ever walked up to somebody and said, how are you doing today? I'm fine. Are they really fine? No. Were they lying? Absolutely. Did they feel good? Absolutely. No, they didn't. Their energy was low. They're sleepy. You can tell. So what do you do right there? Well, they're fine. I'll just go about my merry way. No. You be their friend and you find out, hey, my powers of observation lend me to believe that that was not a true statement coming out of your mouth. You can say it that way, or you can be nicer about it and say, dude, no, you're not. What's the matter? You're not interrogating them. You're being their friend. Man, I haven't slept for like 8 days. Ugh. You can say, well, that sucks for you, and go about your merry day. Or you can say, dude, that's terrible. I hate to hear that. Have you found out what's going on with them? Yes. Was it the first answer? No. You dug in and you found out what was going on with them. Here's the deal. They will typically tell you what their deal is in the first 2 minutes of a conversation, if there is trust. So what if you don't know what's going on with them? Ask and find out. Ask, be human, go deep, be a friend, not an interrogator. Some of us, it's very difficult not to be an interrogator. Where were you the night of the 14th? Freaking heat lamps. Remember that this is your friend and not an interrogation. No waterboarding. Some of you on the next part. Do you want to fix that? Because I'm really sick and tired of your nonsense. It's an approach.
It's probably not the most effective.
I don't know if it's going to be effective. You decide. So have a conversation and be a friend. All right. Let's go ahead and start filling out for the 5 people that you have where you think it hurts. This another analogy that I use is it's like you've gone to the doctor's office, you're the doctor, you've asked your questions, you've gotten their history, you found out where it hurts. So how you doing today? Not feeling so good? That's why you're in the doctor's office? Got it. What hurts? Your elbow, your ear? Got it. Now you know where it hurts for them. If you don't know, if you don't think you know what their thing is, I haven't talked to them in a year, Casey. I have no idea. No problem. We're going to reach out to them regardless here in just a little bit. So if you don't know, then just leave it blank for now. And the way you're going to find out when we communicate with them is you're going to use an acronym called FORM. F-O-R-M. It stands for family, occupation, recreation, motivation. These are 4 subject areas that you can ask your friend how things are going in those areas. Joe, how's your family doing? Doing great, man. Wonderful. How's your job going? Oh, it sucks, man. It's the worst thing I have to do. I can't wait. I hate going to work. Don't want to go back on Monday. My boss sucks. Dude, that sucks. You looking for another job? No, just there's no jobs out there. I want to do something different, man. Really? Like what? I don't know. I just need to make some extra money, man. Huh. Whenever you're having these conversations and you're going down the family, occupation, recreation, motivation, or money, chances are, if they've got any pain points in their life, you're going to trigger that. Here's how it works when you have a conversation with somebody. How you doing? Fine. It's too big of a broad of a question. I'm fine. That's just the default. Can't really comprehend the size of that question. I'm just going to answer fine and move on to the next question. Now, if you go up and you ask somebody, hey, how's your golf game? Okay, shrunk the whole world down to golf. Well, if I don't play golf, then we're not going to get anywhere, right? But if you know they play golf, you can have that conversation. Hey, how's your golf game going? Dude, it's going great. Or, man, I haven't got to play in 3 weeks. My back's all jacked up. How did that pop up? Because you narrowed the scope of the world down to a category that you know is meaningful to them. And they're going to tell you if there's any issues going on, because you always start with the issues. You always start with the bad stuff. How's your family? Oh, dude, Aunt Susie just died last week. All right, that sucks, man. I mean, that's going to be the thing that pops up when you, how you doing? I'm fine. How's your family? Oh, dude, Aunt Susie died last week. Well, you'd think you wouldn't be fine since Aunt Susie died, but you didn't think about Aunt Susie because you asked a very big, broad question that didn't really mean anything, right? But when you focus it down into family, anything that's going on in that area, that's going to come out. And the 4 areas that I'm talking about will typically pull out some information about how their health is, how their wealth is, how their time is, and how their significance is. And that's why we use those questions, because it will elicit what's going on there. What if you get through all those questions and it's not broken? Their life is absolutely fine. How's the family? Dude, cloud 9, everybody's healthy, freaking awesome. Little ones are doing great. Appreciate you asking. That's cool, man. How's work going? Good, dude. I just got retired about 7 weeks ago. I'm living on cloud 9. That's awesome. How's your time? You get to do I get to do whatever I want, whenever I want. Very cool, man. What are you doing from a significance perspective? I'm on the board of a charity. I get to help 200,000 people's lives. Rock and roll, man. Sounds like you got things going well. Yeah, I cannot complain. You ain't going to help fix me right now. I ain't got anything that I perceive to be broken. I'm good. You can't help them. They don't need to buy a car. Their car's fine. They don't need a plumber. Their sink ain't broken. Be cool with that. But I need them in my business. That's what you want, not what they want. Doesn't matter how bad you want that. They don't care. So you got to find out what they need. Find out what they got going on. That's how you'll ask those questions. Okay. While I've been saying that, you should probably have some people filled out. All right. What's a name that, Tara, you got a name on your list there?
I do. Tiffany Martin.
Tiffany Martin. Let me switch this over just for a different view here. Hi there. All right, Tiffany Martin.
Tiffany Martin.
What do you know about her? Let's start with bio.
So Tiffany is a friend. We met playing football, and she also does my hair.
Cool.
Yeah. So
and
we built a friendship. Started out as a business transaction as hair, and the friendship has developed.
Very nice. Very nice. What's some things that you know about her?
She's a mama. She stays at home, has a little 1-year-old, and is a very powerful woman, but doesn't believe how powerful she is. Is extremely creative and extremely a go-getter, but back to doesn't believe in what she can do.
It's a complete aside. We're getting ready to go down a little rabbit hole here, but isn't it amazing on how you can see other people's potential more than they can see it out of themselves?
Yes, because I have people who tell me what I can do and I can't see it in my own self. So
that's a blind spot is what we call those. Yeah, everybody's got that, by the way. They don't know what they don't know, and you can see it's like, dude, I mean, you could kill this thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they don't see it because all their history, all their baggage, all their stories, all their BS that piles up over time, they have constructed a story around what they're going to be and what they're not going to be. That's all it comes down to it. That's why we focus so hard on the why. Do you want to be in that state of being that you possess what it is you desire? Do you see that? And when you see that, you have it. And then it's just a matter of manifesting it. So when you can get somebody to see in themselves what you see for them, that's like an advanced topic, but it is what this is all about. Finding people that will embrace that. And when they do, they'll embrace it in others, and that's your influencers.
And with that said, when you recognize those things, I recognize I'm not going to be able to get what I want out of the situation really fast. And that's the kicker. That's where you have to flip over to caring about your friend. I recognize that she's standing in her own way. So what came of that was, let's break that barrier down first before we can ever have this conversation, because we've had this conversation. She's had the presentation and she's just not about direct sales or network marketing. So she doesn't think, but she's already doing it. in her social media, but she can't connect the dots.
Yes.
So what I have realized is that I can see her power. I can see how great of a force she would be reckoned with. So for me, in order for her to see that, I've got to break her wall down. I can't do that for her. She has to do it for herself. So many of our team kind of knows what Landmark is. So she is embarking on the Landmark journey right now. I don't know if it will ever turn into a customer or a business partner, but for me to watch what she's going through and what she's learning and what she's starting to connect the dots on, even like right now, she's trying to build a business from her home. As much as I want to say, this is what you need, this is the vehicle, you can't insert that until someone's ready, because she's already seen the presentation. She already has a connotation of what we're doing. Yep. Now, the only way, this is a drip system. So now what is going to drip is to support her and her venture. Mm-hmm. And ever so slightly, once in a while, weave in how this would weave in through that, mm-hmm. but not a lot. So for instance, yesterday, concrete, because we don't want to talk about hypothetical. Concrete, yesterday I was getting my hair cut. She's cut my hair. We got into a brainstorming session about how she's going to cut hair to move into a bakery, because that's what she wants to do. Mm-hmm. But it's a bakery that she wants to do that is paleo and vegan, which is very health conscious, which mm-hmm. means she's very health minded. So as we were talking, she's like, yeah, that's why I just never could do direct sales, because it's selling. I said, well, we got to talking.
No, go in. I want to know.
We got to talking. I let her finish because she was going to continue to build that story. So mm-hmm. I let her finish because what she felt that she needed a old school brick and mortar. So she's looking for a bakery and a place to actually have a bakery and start that. And so I let her finish about why she said she couldn't sell. And I said, okay, great. Let's talk about the bakery first. I know where I'm going with the subject.
Yes.
It's back to what you asked me to stay with.
Yes.
It's coming back up.
Yes.
I'm directing her down a path now. So I said, okay, great. So you have this, this, and this, but you can't see your vision to get to the bakery because you need all of this in front of it. I said, use what you know now, which is cutting hair.
Yep.
Use that to get into just people buying your baked goods that you're making out of your kitchen.
Yep.
So while you're having this conversation, you're not selling your baked goods, are you? People are coming to you to cut their hair. You're not selling your baked goods. You're just referring and say, hey, by the way, I'm making these really cool vegan paleo, mm-hmm. Diet-friendly things that everybody can enjoy. So when you're having these conversations, what conversations are you also having? Mm-hmm. Why are you wanting vegan or paleo things? What's going on with you? What's your health look like? Things like this. You're already asking these questions because you have to know what is going in your bakery. So I said, you see how you have to do all of these upfront kind of questions? Not interrogation, but just questions to ask what your clients need, who you're mm-hmm. baking for. She says, yeah. I said, so that's a referral, right? You know how to refer your business. You know how to refer somebody to a baker or to a hairstylist. You know how to refer somebody to a good movie. You know how to refer somebody to things. I said, can you refer somebody to good health? Hey, I might know somebody. If you're already, and she immediately saw where I was going with it. She realized that when she saw the presentation, she had in her mind it was going to be sales.
Yep.
And then when I started connecting the dots for her to how she wants to get out of cutting hair and move into a bakery because she cares about people's health and cares about other people and wants to give them what she sees is lacking in the market, she realizes a simple conversation. She goes, so I could refer people to you, Tara, about, hey, I might know somebody that can help you with that high blood pressure. I said, that's it. She said, oh. She went, dots connected. Now, with that said, I didn't push anymore. We moved off onto another subject. Yep. That was enough for the day. She saw the light bulb. I'm not going in for the kill. I will not go to the kill. We're going to help her connect these dots and help her start weaving a conversation into what she's doing right now to where she's already doing it. And then all of a sudden, when she starts passing me people, I'm going, hey, you want to make money off of these people? Yep. Look what you're already doing. You're already doing it.
Yep.
I realized with her, she has to see she's already doing it before she can actually believe she's doing it.
Yep.
So that's where...
That's so good.
And I'll be honest, Tiffany, Tiffany was one of the first people I spoke with after we joined the business, before I understood the importance not to drop blueberries. Yep. So she was somebody I dropped blueberries on.
Yep. Everybody does it.
Everybody does it. So I will tell you that.
What rank are y'all again?
Huh?
What rank are y'all again?
We are Sapphires.
Sapphires. And they're the number 4 in the North American continent of Sapphires right now for team retention. That is the important part. It's great to blow up an organization. It's another that they're still around. This takes longer doing it this way. I will tell you right up front. You have people that will go through a whole lot faster and bring a whole bunch of people online, and then those people come up missing soon thereafter. Those people have influence. They blow up a business, but do they retain the business? No. You'll see somebody shoot up. There's a lot of momentum, and then it's like a bottle rocket. Bottle rockets are pretty. You light them. They catch on fire. They shoot up real fast. They explode. Everybody goes, ooh, ah. And then what happens to them? They fall back down to earth. You never see them again. One shot wonders.
We have seen that.
It happens throughout this profession. What you're looking for is to be able to, now does it have to take a long time? No, it does not. It is a matter of connecting the dots. And the more efficient and quicker you are at connecting the dots for people, the faster your organization goes. The better you are at explaining how to connect those dots to another person, the more people come into your organization. If it is more complex than one page, it's too complex. We've got one page that you're looking at. That's what you're filling out. So she went through so many good things that she just said there, but could you feel how she built rapport with that person? It was there. She knew what was going on. Yeah, please.
I'll be very honest. When I talked about, I'm not joking. Within a week of us starting this business almost a year ago, Tiffany was one of the first people I talked to, and it was totally not the process. It was not the process of how we.
You were telling her all that you wanted to tell her. You need to do this, you need to do that. And what she goes, no, I don't. I don't have to do a damn thing.
I don't need to do a damn thing. And I'll tell you, that's probably what's, put her wall a little higher
Absolutely.
on this. So now I am.
Here she comes again.
Exactly. But yet now she doesn't look at me that way.
You broke it down because you're in it for her. You're asking questions about her. You're finding out about her bakery. You're finding out what she wants. And is it a means to an end? At some point, yes, you are going down that path, but y'all can all tell listening to Tara talk about her, she's not looking at her friend Tiffany as a walking cash register. She's looking at her as a friend on how can I help her get what she wants. And if this could be a way to help her get to what she wants faster, then I want to help support her do that because I can offer this because I possess this vehicle. And if she had this vehicle, she could get there faster too. Tiffany, you want to go to Disneyland Bakery. To do that, you're going to need what? Money. Cool. You want to walk to Disneyland? Do you want to take 4 years cutting hair to get there? Or would you like to take a Maserati and get to your bakery faster? That's effectively what she's doing. At first, Tiffany thought she had to get in and fly an airplane to get to Miami, to get to her bakery. And she said, we ain't going nowhere. She walked off, sat back on the tarmac and sat down. And she's like, I ain't getting back on that plane with you. But instead, what Tara did, she came back and she said, you know what? Let me connect the dots for you. Well, I can fly that airplane if that's all I got to do, if I don't have to sail. Here's the deal. Nobody has a problem with sales. When you hear the word sales, it's code word for you. Y'all go do sales all the damn time. Y'all, some of you, especially half the population, loves going shopping, right? What do you do at a shopping? You buy stuff. That's called doing a sale, okay? You didn't freak out on that problem. Why? Because you're on the other side and it was very easy. What you say when you say you can't do sales is that you don't like rejection. You don't like being icky. You don't like pushing things on other people. That's what most people think of when they think of sales. Did you ever have somebody really help you out at Neiman's before? Really paid attention to all your needs? Not at Neiman's. Let me think of a better spot. But you have had experiences, most likely, few of them, where you had the greatest salesperson ever. And what did they do? They paid attention to you. They weren't trying to sell you something that you didn't need. They simply found out what you desired. They happened to have it in stock, and they showed you how easy it was to go home with it. And you walked home extremely happy. You got exactly what you were looking for. You didn't get the used car salesman person who's selling you something that you didn't want just so that they can move that car off the lot. Some of y'all are acting like a used car salesman. It feels icky, and you don't want to do it. Doing it this way, you're finding out what they need.
And just be sure that if you guys do drop blueberries, just like I did, just come back and regroup. Come back and really go, okay, what does that person need? And understand that you might have broke a little bit of trust, dropping those blueberries and forcing yourself upon somebody. So understand that takes a little time.
You got to repair the relationship.
Mend that bridge again. So, and that might take a little while, but just understand that when you do that, you're going to empower somebody who will run through walls for you.
Absolutely. Because they know you truly care about them. You got to come that way. So when you figure out where it's broken, this is the second part, well, the third part where people stumble. First, when they stumble is they're terrorist on their why, their desire. Then when they start talking to people, they're not focusing on what it is that person wants. They're focusing on what they want. The third spot that people mess up on is we skip this step. When we find out in the box, you checked one of the boxes, it hurts here, my elbow hurts. You immediately want to fix their elbow. You didn't ask for permission if they wanted to fix their elbow. You know it's broken. You see it. And we talked a couple times already today about blind spots. You see the spinach in their teeth. They can't see the spinach in their teeth. You need to ask, hey, is it okay if I let you know that you got something going on? Well, yeah, what I got going on? It's like, no, I'd prefer to go through life completely clueless. Don't tell me anything. That's how a lot of people really are. They would rather not know. But can I tell you about something? Yeah, what you got? You got a little piece of spinach in your mouth. Oh, thank you so much. Because they wanted to know so they could fix it. You got to find out if the person wants to fix it. So many of you find out where it hurts. They have blood pressure issues. I mean, you are freaking, we're going to fix something. We're going to fix it right the hell now. And they're like, I didn't really want to fix that right now. I wanted to come over and have a beer with you tonight. I didn't really want to go in here and have my whole medical history examined and fixed. I made a good one last night on the summit call. I asked all the ladies, and hey, have you ever come in with a problem and shared it with your significant other and they want to fix it right away and you didn't really want it fixed? You just wanted them to listen to you? And everybody's hand went up. Not saying that they don't want it fixed, but make sure that you understand them first. They want to be understood first, and then maybe they want to fix it. Sometimes they're just venting. So you need to find out, hey, you got to have empathy first too. Because if you come in with a holier than thou, going, well, that sucks for you that you got that problem. I ain't got that problem, but I can fix your problem. Dude, that isn't going to make them have the warm and fuzzies. That's not going to build a relationship. That's not going to be rapport. This is just human 101, man. We've learned this stuff on the playground in kindergarten, but we forget it when we get into this business. We start just like we lose our mind and we operate in some other weird netherworld when we're talking to our friends. It's like you're starting to sell magazines. Hello, I'm selling magazines today. Would you like to buy 7? I mean, that's how some of y'all are coming across because you got an agenda. You're trying to sell them something that they don't want. Okay? So you need to find out, is it broken? And then you got to find out if they want to fix it. This is key. So many times you'll make it to the part where I asked them what was broken, and good Lord knows they need money. Do you see what they're driving? You know, I've gotten that one before. Oh, I know they need money. You see their car? I'm like, holy shit, really? Why don't you have more conversation with them and find out a little bit more? Go deeper. Now, how do you bring that up? Say, hey, how's things going with your money? How's your job? You earning everything you're looking for? There's a direct way you can come on that. Say, hey, do you keep your options open to earn an additional income? If it didn't take away from what you're currently doing in whatever industry you're doing. That's the question I ask waiters all the time. If I got good service from somebody's got some hustle, I will always ask them and say, hey, do you keep your options open? You did a great job tonight. You took care of us. I'm a bit of a diva when I'm at a restaurant. I want it my way, especially since I'm paying what I'm paying. You're going to make it my way, all right? Not the way you want it. I want it this way. You did that. And thank you. And my wife's like, yeah, good Lord. Yes, it's hard. It's hard being me at dinner with him. I won't tell you that she pointed at you, but she pointed at you. right over that with the bus. I'm the same way, man. I am exactly the same way. So when somebody does a good job, I'm like, hey. When that happens, I'll tell you, I say, hey, or girl, I'll say, hey, you did a fantastic job with us. Do you keep your options open to earn an additional income? If it didn't take away from what you're currently doing here in the food service industry. I don't say being a waiter, in the food service industry. Give them a little compliment. Let them know, because they're offering a value. That's a valuable service to me. I didn't want to cook. I want it to be this way. I'm willing to pay good money for it. You took care of my needs. I appreciate that. You keep your eye. This is somebody I've never met in my life. What are they going to say to me? Yes or no? No, I'm good. Cool. They say yes. Cool. What do you do? Now's not the time to get into that right now. I'm here having dinner with family. But if you are interested, I'd love to be able to reach out to you later. Can I reach out to you on Facebook or send you a text or give you a call and do that sort of thing?
Okay. I met Ariel at the Crispy Donut. Okay, and I think he was a manager or something. But anyway, it so happened that he went out, and I waited until he came back, and I asked him the same thing. I said, hey, how you doing? How long have you been here? And I said, are you the type of person that's open-minded? Are there, other ways that make extra money and this and that? But he started telling me that he has 2 jobs at the Crispy Donut. He says, I've been out since 2 o'clock. He says, I'm ready to go to the other one. And he said, but just wait for me. And he says, do you have anything that you can show me? And I said, I have a sample that I can let you have. But I have it in the car. She said, okay, I'll meet you outside. Okay. So that's when I found out he was 2 jobs. He's not doing too good in health because he doesn't.
Don't give me his whole backstory. I don't really care. Go into the final part on.
Okay. Well, they didn't have enough time. So all I did was give him a sample. I said, don't throw it away now. You throw my money away. I said, I want to make sure you go and try it.
Did you give him a sunrise or what'd you give him?
I gave him a sunrise.
Cool.
Okay. And I also gave him this.
Perfect.
So he can, I need some information that I can read.
Got it?
All right. But that was it.
Okay.
I didn't have any extra time because I know I can't do
Perfect.
it now. I'm on my way out.
Got it?
I said, okay. I said, that's okay. Just give me your name, phone number, and I'll call you.
But
I've been texting him. No response.
Perfect. He's not interested. Next.
Okay. So I'm in.
And let me recap because I want to make sure everybody heard that. She was at a donut shop talking to manager, asked a question, do you keep your options open basically for earn additional income? He tells life story on all the different stuff he's doing. And then one of the things that happened is you gave him some information on that, but it was a quick situation. It was a cold. That's fine. What I would have done is said, no, I don't have time to get into it right now, but let me get your name. Let me get your phone number, and I'll get you in touch with somebody that could be able to get you some information, or I'll reach back out to you. Is that okay? And then be done with it right there. And now you've got control of the conversation. That's how I would have done it differently. Because what you did is you gave him some stuff, and he's going to go look at that, and then he's going to go try and do some research, and he's going to come up with a whole bunch of ideas on what he thinks he's going to have to do, just like Tiffany was doing that. And now you have no way of getting back into the conversation because you've already given him enough information that he can go and make a decision. He can't make a decision on that information. Not saying it was a bad approach. I'm just saying what I would have done differently is I would have come back and I would have reached out to him and I say, hey, are you still interested in hearing what we've got going on? I'm going to pre-qualify him. I'm not going to be so much in a hurry to give him everything. I want to find out if he's somebody I want to work with. I want to have a better conversation with him and say, what is it that made you give me your phone number? Ask him, what made you give me your phone number? Now, if you hadn't given him anything and you called him and he doesn't answer, you saved yourself a whole lot of time. You saved yourself a piece of paper and you saved yourself a sunrise, didn't you? Because he wasn't qualified enough to be able to get that.
Yeah, but it bothers me when he says, always have a sample with you.
Absolutely.
And so that right away.
Absolutely. But this guy wasn't one that I'm going to, when I'm driving down the road and I have a sample with me and I'm at a stoplight, somebody's window's down, I don't just throw one in their car either. That's effectively what you did. I mean, you can pass him out that way, but he didn't deserve it yet, in my opinion. this is just how I approach it. You can absolutely shift this around on how you want to be able to do it, but he wasn't qualified enough yet to get that. I want to know more about the guy. You went too quick into the fixing the problem until you found out if he really wanted to fix it. You know what I mean? You knew he had a problem because he'd been up since 2 and he's got more stuff. So there's a hunger there, but not hungry enough yet where I'm going to feed him steak dinner. Dig deeper, dig a little bit deeper, because you went straight into the solution. So now it's transactional and there's not a relationship. You don't know anything else about the guy because there was no reason for him to contact you back. The other thing is his terrace has him on the straight and narrow that he's going to get up at 2. He's a disciplined guy. He's working 2-3 jobs. He's dead tired. And his terrace is going to keep him doing this. You don't have time for that thing. You don't know who that lady is. You're not going to be successful doing this. He pulls up Kyani. He sees MLM, and he automatically assumes that he's got to do sales and this and that and the other. And he has no idea what he's saying no to.
You're right. You did ask me about sales.
Is this sales? Because you don't want to do sales. That's why he works at a donut shop. Okay? There's not a whole lot of problems there on figuring out what people want. I want glazed, and I want some chocolate covered ones. I mean, that's would you like milk with that? I mean, there's your upsell, right? It's a pretty simple process on that. So he's afraid of rejection. He'd rather just come in and you want donuts? Cool. You don't want donuts? Cool. You know, it's on or off. I'm making a lot of assumptions here, right?
I better just take off about the simple. Get it out of the way for itself.
No, for them, right. You need to know about him. Does he deserve the sample yet? Not yet. Cool. So that's the key. How bad do you want to fix it? You didn't do that part deep enough to find out that he really wanted it. You went straight to, let's fix your problem. He's okay. And you gave him a couple stuff and he walks off. He goes, okay, that was weird.
Threw the baseball in his ear.
He threw a baseball in his ear and he wasn't quite ready for it, I don't think. You want him begging you for what you got. And then but you got to understand him better before you can give him what you got, because you don't know if it's going to fix it. That's it. That help?
Yes.
Rock and roll. So
Can you ask that question one more time?
Do you keep your options open to earning additional income if it didn't take away time from what you're currently doing in XYZ industry? Food service industry, beverage creation artist for bartenders.
It didn't take away your time.
Away from what you're currently doing in such and such industry. Learned that from Mr. Lane Winsett. He put me on the cover of the magazine with him. Watched him do that at Jasper's. I was like, oh, that's good. Now, here's the other thing. I don't want to beat up on waiters. Okay? I don't want to beat up on people that are employed in the food service industry. There's some people that were in the food service industry that are now multimillionaires. Okay? You have influence over the food service industry people because you are the person that's putting food on their table. They will say yes to anything if it means a bigger tip. Okay? So don't get hung up on your waiters out there.
Especially if they don't answer back.
And what do they bring to the table? Do they bring influence? Do they bring, as this we're talking cold market here, do they bring a whole lot to the table? You're going into business with another person. You're getting ready to open up a multi-million-dollar business. Are you going to staff it with a bunch of waiters? Maybe so. I'm good with it. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying always consider who it is you're working with. Is this who you're wanting to build a multi-million-dollar business with? Do they have their mind right? I'm not saying I did bartending. I did waiter. I get it. I know what I'm saying here. But at the current point that they're at that time, looking at it on a macro level, what are the odds that all these waiters that everybody's talking to is going to join? And are they going to follow the steps, and are they going to do what we need to do? They struggle getting to their shift on time. They struggle bringing me nachos. Okay? It's not rocket surgery. So make sure that somebody, now they knock it out of the park. Heck yeah, man, go for it. I want y'all to hear what I'm saying. Make sure that the people that you got are the people that you want to do business with, not just walking warm bodies to put in your organization. Okay? Are they going to help you achieve your goals? And if the answer is yes to that, let's go. Let's get them in front of the information.
Can I add something to that, Casey?
Yes, and then we got to move on.
Gotcha. 2 seconds is be aware of that. Everybody is what Casey said is, who you're bringing in. Yes, it's a warm body, but if you got to chase somebody to put money in their pocket or to help them or whatever, be cognitive of who you're chasing.
Yeah.
I have somebody right now that I am like, I'm done chasing, man. I'm done chasing, trying to put money in your pocket. So be cognitive of that. It doesn't mean you're giving up. It just means that they don't get as much priority of your time anymore.
Yeah.
It's move on to other people that do want your time. And then when that person comes back around, go, okay.
You are picking your team for dodgeball.
Yep.
And you can pick it for being really nice to everybody, or you can go win the dodgeball game. She has no problem working on somebody for a year, but she knows the difference when she's working on somebody that actually is going to do something with their life versus somebody that talks a big game and is not actually doing what they say they're going to do. Be cognizant of that. That's a good point. Okay. Peak in interest. Yeah. Thank you this is great session. So how do you find out if they're serious about fixing it? You ask them, are you serious about fixing that? I heard you say that your back hurts. Is that something that you want to fix? How long have you been dealing with your back pain? Is that something you want to rectify? Most people will say, well, doesn't everybody? My answer is, you would be surprised. No, they don't. Do you? Because here's the deal. I'm not trying to waste your time here. I just heard you say you got a problem. I'm just, making sure that I understood it. And I'm finding out, do you want to fix it? Do you want a pillow to sit on? If you don't, cool. No worries, man. I don't want to bug you. They'll appreciate that. They might come around later because their guard went up and they'll say, no, I don't want it. That's not it. They just didn't want to look like they were needy. They come back next week and you see them and they look even worse. And it's like, dude, how's your back still jacking with you? It is. You really don't want to see what I do to help you fix that thing? I mean, if you don't, it's cool. No, dude, I'm in pain. What you got? That could be the next day. Okay. So their situation's always changing, and keep asking. They got to say yes. So if they don't want to fix it, you are wasting your time. You're wasting their time. There's no point in it.
Be cognitive to create that space for someone to say yes.
Yes.
What I mean by that is if you touch on them and they say, no, I don't want to fix it, like Sherry offered me a pillow.
Mm-hmm.
If she would have asked me probably in 5 minutes when my butt was cold and hurting.
How about now?
But be cognitive of how you're asking.
Yeah. Don't be holier than thou.
Don't be holier than thou, or like, oh, are you ready to fix it now that you turned me down the first time? And say, hey, no, I really care about you. Are you ready?
That's so key.
When you come soft to people, they will get a space of saying yes to you.
Yep.
When you come hard at them, they'll be like, no, that's you. I don't want nothing to do with you.
If you're doing it to be right, don't do it to be right.
Thank you. That's what I was saying.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's another way of saying it.
Mm-hmm.
Because the way I say it and the way you say it, everybody needs to hear both sides of that. And there's 6 other ways of saying it. And that just allows people to get this concept. When you get this concept, this is the simplest, stupidest thing in the world to do. It is ridiculous how easy it is. Mm-hmm. You're just being a good human.
Yep,
it's really awesome. So figure out how serious they are. So sometimes they'll say, yeah, I want to fix that. No. I do this when I'm working with y'all on your why. I want to travel. I didn't really feel it. Sorry, didn't get goosebumps. We're going to Greece. Shit, let's go. Now I know you're serious about it. I got goosebumps. When I know that happened, now I know we got something, we can move on. You're serious about getting there. And you'll notice it's the same process that we do when you're coming into the business. It's the same process once you're in the business. Think about that. You're all are in the business. What am I doing? I'm doing the same dang thing with y'all to see, do y'all really want to do this today? We started talking about your why. Everybody got their why. They want to do this thing. Cool. Now I know you're serious. Because if you ain't serious, I could be watching my kids play volleyball and soccer right now, right? But I knew y'all were serious. Let's do this. And I'm in, right? Because it helps further what I want to do. I want you all to succeed and get to Greece and get these things that you have on your whys. Because if I help y'all do that, guess what? I get to where I want to get. but I got to get y'all there first. I've got my hand down, grabbing you guys to pull you up onto the plateau that I currently exist on. And until I do that, I can't keep going up the mountain. But I got to get you here first, and then I'll move up to the next spot. It's not that I'll get up here and say, hey, you down there, come on, let's go. No, let me grab you and pull you up to the next one, grab you, pull you up to the next one. And then once we get there, we just keep on going up the mountain. Now, once I go up the next spot and you're here, guess what you got to do? Look back down at your team, grab them, find out if they're serious. Y'all want to come up this mountain or not? You want to travel? That's crap. Where you want to go? Oh, now you can come up. Make sense? So find out how serious they are. You must do this. If you don't do this, you're skipping a major part of the process, and it will not duplicate as well. You'll get lucky. Blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. Now, once you have all of this, it's time to pass the ball. Okay? And this gets into a very important concept of trust and proof. So what do I mean by that? All these names you wrote down, you know these people. They know you. Very good chance, high likelihood of all the names that you wrote down, I don't know them. Just high likelihood of it. I might know some of them because our list cross over. But for the most part, everybody that y'all wrote down, I don't know who those people are. No problem with that. So what is it that you bring to the table? What is it that you bring into the organization? You bring the trust of these people. That's what you've got. You bring the desire to help these people. That's what you've got. If I walk up to these people and I start having a conversation, the barrier is going to be higher. They don't know me, but they know you. That's relationship marketing. That's why we do it this way. Otherwise, I could have a nice commercial on TV and we'll just do it that way. But it doesn't work as well. When you have trust, you're able to do recommendations, and we do it all the time. And that's what y'all are doing, is make a recommendation to connect this person. You have a problem. Let me recommend that I connect you to this other person so that they can fix that for you or show you a path to maybe relieve that. Health, wealth, time, or significance. So the key part is, because you have that trust, the other thing that what I bring to the table and what the organization and my leadership and my system brings to the table is that it brings the proof. People have to have trust and proof before they do something. Trust plus proof equals action. If one of those two ingredients aren't there, chances are you're not going to have action. Why do TV commercials put celebrities on the TV? Because for some stupid reason, we trust those people. Matthew McConaughey does not drive a Lincoln, just so y'all know.
He probably doesn't have a dog.
He sits there and rolls his little boogers on the Lincoln commercial, and everybody goes, I gotta have a Lincoln.
And he gets out and walks away.
It's it's dumb, but it's smarter than a fox, because that's how we're wired. It's what we do. But what's the best form of advertising? Word of mouth advertising. Why? Because when somebody that you trust tells you, so I'll give you another example on the TV. Say David and I are sitting on the couch watching the TV, and up pops the new Captain Marvel movie. And I look at this, and they spend millions of dollars on that promotional spot, right? For a 30-second commercial, they pump millions into that thing. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking, I'm like, hell yeah, dude, that's looking pretty good. And I nudge Dave and I say, hey man, what you think about that movie? And he goes, yeah, I went and watched it last week. Sucked. Freaking terrible. What does that do? It pops my balloon, right? $1 million versus my friend saying it sucked. What wins? Am I going to go watch it? I don't know. Now, how bad do I want it? I might want to watch it pretty bad, but it's still going to be in my head. Flip that around. I'm looking at this show. And I'm going, man, I don't know if I want to see that or not. Looks all right on the thing, but not really doing it for me. Brother, I just went and watched that greatest movie of all time. What? And I'm going to look at him. And he's like, dude, greatest movie of all time. I'm like, shit, all right, I'm going to the movies then, right? Why? Why do I put so much? Because I trust him. He's my friend. Now he might be an ass and trying to go get me to watch the worst movie ever, and that's just what he wants to do, and that's fine too, right? But chances are he's probably not doing that. The integrity that he brings to the relationship is such that he's not only going to pass along stuff that's good. Why? Because that's how we roll. That's what people do. So a recommendation from somebody is more powerful than any other form of advertising. So what you bring to the table is the trust. Now, here's the next thing. I can use him as a proof if I've watched enough movies with him. There's some people I had lunch with back at the Huntsman where I would literally do the opposite of what they say because they gave me a couple recommendations. I watched it. It's freaking terrible. I'm like, what's wrong with you? I mean, your wiring is jacked. So when they would say, oh, this is a great movie, I'm scratch that off. I ain't wasting time on that one. So they've got proof for me. They've got a level of proof of either what they say is something that I align with or what they say I don't align with. So from a product, can you make a recommendation of a product? Can you be enough proof for your friend that's dealing with the same thing that you dealt with or you know? Yes, you can. Can you be the proof that you know how to lead a multi-million-dollar organization with your track record? Maybe, maybe not. Chances are maybe not if you haven't done it before. So you can't be the proof for them unless you can be the proof for them. That's called having influence over them. If you've got influence over them that what you say is going to get them there, be the influencer. Let them know. But if you don't have that, don't try to be that person. You're talking to the donut guy. Do you have proof in his eyes about this business? No. I don't know. She said no. So you can't be the person to give him the information. Because when you give it to him, it doesn't mean anything to him. And you know it doesn't because when you call, he don't answer. But if you were to connect her and says, you know what? If you're serious about that, I'm serious what you got. I know a guy that I can put you in touch with and connect you to that's leading an organization all through Houston and blah, 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 and you give them all the edification of me. You're not doing it to blow sunshine up my butt. I'm good. I know what I've done. I know where I'm at. I don't need it. Is it nice and pretty? It's great, but it doesn't do anything for me. It's for him. It's for him to know that who you're getting ready to put them in, the introduction that you're making is with somebody that knows what's going on and they can be the proof in their eyes. It's about them. Are they going to receive this message? Make sense? That's what this is. It's another analogy is a plumber. You know that they got a broken sink. Are you going to fix their sink? Some of you can do it because you have the ability, you have the influence, and you can talk about, dude, I know what's wrong with it. You've got your P-traps messed up. You need to tighten this up. I've got the lug wrench and this. You start using all the words of vernacular and they're listening to all this stuff and go, this guy knows what he's talking about. You got grease on your hands, you know, you're wearing a plumber shirt. They're going to let you do it, right? Or you come in, you're wearing a 3-piece suit, and you go, hey, you got a hacksaw and a screwdriver, and we can go take care of it. I don't care how successful you are. You ain't got proof you're going to fix my sink. So instead, you connect them to the plumber. You got a sink problem. Do you want to fix your sink problem? No, I'm good. I can roll, brother. I'm good. No, my sink's pretty jacked up. I want to fix it. What do you got? Well, I can't fix it, but I know somebody that can. Would you like to talk to him? Yeah, could you get him on the phone, please? That's what we do. The whole thing boils down to that stupid little example. You know your friend. You observe that there might be an issue in their life. Their sink's broken. You ask your friend, do you want to fix it? They say yes. You say, you know a plumber. You want to talk to him. That's what we do. I could have taken an hour and a half and boiled it down to 14 seconds of explaining what we do. Is this making sense to everybody?
Mhm.
The other thing that this does is if you sit there and explain it to them for the next 45 minutes and try to be the proof and tell your donut guy in the parking lot all the stuff that we do, and this guy's been up since 2, what is he seeing? Okay, so if I join this business, I have to run into people, take them out to the parking lot, talk to them for 45 minutes and explain the whole thing. Yeah, no, I'm not going to do it. Why? Because he doesn't think that he can drive the car. He can't fly the airplane. So what do? We destroy the time excuse and we say, I ain't got time to explain it to you, Junior. Go back in there and make some donuts. But if you want to talk to my guy, let me put you in touch with him. Then I get on the phone with him and I do all the explanation. That's my job to do. And when I get done with him, he goes, this all sounds good, Mr. Salji. I'd really like to get out of the donut shop. I'm so blessed that Ava came by that day and thought enough of me to reach out to me and see if I kept my options open to earn an additional income. If it didn't interrupt what I was doing, but I don't see how it's not going to interrupt what I'm doing. I don't have time to do what you're doing. And I want to say, well, listen here, donut guy. How much time did Ava spend with you? Well, she spent like 13 seconds with me, and then we went out into the parking lot, and she gave me her information, and I got her information, and that was the extent of it. Donut guy, you can't do the same thing? Light bulb, ding, 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 connects all the dots, just like your friend did with Tiffany. I don't have to sell, which means I don't have to get rejected. I don't have to go out and call on people. I don't have to try to sell them stuff and feel icky about it. I don't have to do all those things. I just got to make referrals like I do all the damn time. I can do this. And now they see that they can fly the airplane and we go to Disney World. This connecting for you?
Absolutely.
Now, when this happens here, when you are making the connection, when you are taking your person and say, do you want to talk to my guy? And they say yes, then you're going to pass them over to me, okay? I'm going to send out, I don't have it now, but I will send it here shortly, or Mr. Jones is going to hook me up, but we're going to send out a text message to you all that will be the words that you can use to do the steps to connect them to me. So using the donut guy. Donut guy, you want to talk to my guy? I do. How do I get in touch with him? I'll take care of it for us. I'm going to put us in a 3-way text message. Well, I don't know how to do that. Do you know how to text message donut guy? Yes, I do. Okay, perfect. You're going to get a text message. Just answer the guy when he calls you or when he reaches out to you. Okay, sounds good. And then you're going to take this message that we're going to send out to you all here in just a second, and you're going to send it to them. You're going to put it in a 3-way text. You're going to have 2 people that are going to receive this text message. It's going to be your upline leader, or me, and your prospect, donut guy, okay? And in it, you're going to say, hello, and it's going to have a blank. That's where you put donut guy. Hello, donut guy. I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Salji. He was the guy I was telling you about, blah, 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 blah. Copy and paste, you just put in donut guy. The next thing that you put in there is, Mr. Salji, this is donut guy. I met donut guy at the donut store. He was interested in earning additional income. I told him I'd put you in touch with him. Donut guy, Mr. Salji, donut guy. And then you're done. Zip it, hit the mute button. You're done for now. I'm going to jump in, or your leader's going to jump in and say, hello, donut guy. It's a pleasure to meet you. And thank you, Ava, for the wonderful introduction. I appreciate it. Tell me, donut guy, what do you know about what we're doing so far, if anything? Donut guy needs to respond, and he'll most likely say, I don't know a damn thing. I say, perfect. Would you like to get on a quick phone call where I can give you a fast rundown on what it is that we're doing? Or as another option, I've got a short video that goes over some of the same information. It's completely up to your preference. Which one do you prefer? I want to watch the video. I don't want to talk to you. You sound scary. I'm going to be up at 2 a.m. making donuts. I'd rather watch the video there while I'm making donuts. Cool. And what am I going to do? I'm going to send them a video. Now, that's how it's going to go down in the happy path. Here's what happens. Donut guy doesn't respond. Happens all the time. So what do? You monitor the interaction, you reframe it and go, donut guy, this is Ava. You told me that you wanted to talk to Mr. Salji. Looks like something came up. I just wanted to check in on you, make sure everything's okay. Are you still interested in earning additional income? Where are you at? No response means they didn't want to do it. What it actually means is they did want to do it, but they said no to what they thought they would have to do if they said yes. But they were too stupid to even investigate the idea. Their terrorist won. Their terrorist said, don't do that. You've never been successful. Sit down, shut up, don't talk to the girl next to you. All the things they heard from grade school. Keep getting up at 2 a.m. and make donuts. And here's the deal. I'm okay with that. Why? Because I needed an apple fritter this morning. And I bought donuts. Somebody's got to make them. Cool. That's what they desire to do, obviously, or they would do something different. Know this. This is a great analogy. There was a guy that was going out and he was selling encyclopedias. He was going from door to door. He comes up on this guy and he's sitting on his porch in his rocking chair. Got a old hound dog next to him. He's sitting there and just watching time go by, and salesman goes up and says, hello, sir, how you doing? I'm good. Would you like to buy some? And then right before you get into a sales pitch, the dog starts howling. Sales guy looks at the dog, looks at the guy, says, sir, what's wrong with your dog? He said, my dog's fine. Go ahead. What were you about to say? Well, sir, would you be interested? Ow! Dog starts doing his thing. Guy said, what's wrong with your dog, sir? Nothing. He's fine. Just go on, do your thing. Well, sir, would you be, sir, what's wrong with your dog? He says, well, no, he's just sitting on a nail. He's sitting on a nail. What? Why doesn't he get up off the nail? Why is he sitting there howling? The guy looked and said, well, son, I guess it doesn't hurt so bad, does it? Doesn't hurt bad enough for him to get up. You're going to run into so many hound dogs that are saying, I don't make enough. I don't have enough. They're howling all the time. They just don't want to get up off the nail. It's okay. Keep sitting on the nail. Keep doing what you're doing. You don't want to fix it. Next. That's what happens. Okay. So when they fall off the radar, reach back out to them. Reframe it on what they desired. Bring that back up. Get them into the state of paying attention to what it is they want, not what you want out of the deal. And don't do it in the holier than thou. Well, I thought you said you wanted to make more money, but obviously you don't, or you would have responded to me. I mean, you can try that, but it's probably not going to elicit a good response. Make you feel good. You get that holier than thou superior. I showed him. Yes, you did. You showed him that he does not want to be a part of your organization if that's how you're going to be, because it's about you then. Make it about them. I fight that one all the time. All right, cognizant of time, I want to get into action. So here's what we're going to do. I want to give you a visual representation, because using words is one thing, but we think in movies. We think in pictures. Whenever you think of a trip, think of your favorite trip you've ever taken right now. Chances are a sonnet didn't come into your mind. A picture came into your mind. You visually saw it. We're visually built people, right? So this picture is to get you to understand all the parts of what we just did visually. You are driving that little dump truck. That dump truck is you driving around your day-to-day life, out and about, running into people. When you run into people, you have an inclination that they might be somebody that you want to see if there's something that we can help them with. So what you do is you load them up, you put them in the back of your dump truck. There's those little purple pieces, and you're going to drive them to the Jade factory. That's our organization. That's this picture. When you get to the Jade factory, you go over, and however many people you ran into, you're going to dump those raw material on that little conveyor belt, and then you're going to go park your dump truck, and then you're going to walk into the Jade factory, and you're going to walk to your workstation. Okay, so think of a factory, you walk in. As you're walking up to your workstation, there's a big canvas at the top of your workstation. And on that canvas is the picture, the mental picture of the desire, the feeling of what you wrote in the top of your box. Your desire, your why. What was that for you? When you got fierce now, not those words that you use, but the picture that you saw. That's what goes on that canvas. That's why you come to work at the factory. Now, just below that, you're going to see the conveyor belt running past your workstation. And then just below that, you have a control panel, and there's 3 controls that are sitting on that. There's a light switch, there's a scale, and there's a lever. And you see those going left to right on the factory. The first one is the light switch. And when you flip that switch, one of those little purple pieces, that raw material, the people on your names list, is going to roll up onto the conveyor belt and come to your workstation. And there's a very bright light that you have that you turn the light switch on, and that light is shining on that raw material. You are finding and moving it around and inspecting and observing, asking questions, and basically finding where it hurts for that raw material. Does it hurt on the wealth, the health, the time, or the significance part? The next thing that we do is on your control panel is there's a scale. And when you find out where it hurts, you're going to weigh it. You're going to find out how far on the scale of things that they want to fix, how important is this to them? Do they want to fix it, and how bad? Once you've done that, the next thing you do is you pull the lever, and the raw material goes back on the conveyor belt, and then it goes down, and it's got a choice depending on how you pull the lever. It's going to go one of 2 places. One place it might go is to me or one of the leaders in the organization. And what we're going to do is we're going to explain to them how we're going to fix their problem, because they're interested enough to fix that problem. The other place it's going to go is it's going to go down that river that goes out the back, and that river goes on down, and what we're doing is we're polluting the river with this raw material. Okay? This is for all the ones that don't want to fix it. This is for the donut guy that's good. This is for all the dogs, hound dogs sitting on the nail. It don't hurt bad enough for them to want to fix it. Cool. Send them on down the river. Don't clog up my factory with these people. Get them the hell out of the factory. Now, notice that I send these raw material down a nice, lovely, lazy river. I don't send them down into the fiery pits of hell. Okay. So you don't need to burn them up, explode them, melt them down with dynamite or anything like that, hydrochloric acid. We don't need to do any of that. We're going to be nice and gentle and send them down a nice, lovely little lazy river. Okay. Little Bob Ross right there. You need to get the fro and nice, pretty little river. So we're going to send them down there, right? And where this connects is it goes back down into this big old pond, this lake, this ocean of all this little raw material that doesn't have its sail set up. And they're just going to bob and weave out there. And then they're going to eventually come up and they're going to land up on the land again and hit land. And you're going to come around with your dump truck and you're going to scoop them up, put them in your dump truck, and bring them back over to the factory 3 months later, or 6 months, or a year, or 5 years, or 20 years. And you're just going to find out and send them through the process again, turn the light switch on them, find out what they want, find out if they want to fix it. And if they do, maybe you want to talk to my guy this time, or not, and send their butt back down the river again. Everybody see that in your mind. That's the factory. That's the Jade factory. That's what we do. Okay? So now it's time to do that. We're going to do this for a short period of time. But I want you to start by reaching out. Okay? So look, everybody grab your plan on a page. You've got your why. Read that again. Get yourself into that state. Elicit that response, that feeling that you've got on why you want to do this. Then notice that it's about these people. It's about helping them. It's not about you. Remember how you know them. Okay, see, I know these guys. Yep, just remember that part, and then get down to the report box where it has a check mark and use one that you got a check mark on. We'll start on the easy ones. And reach out to them right now in a text message. Now, this is some high-tech stuff here, but you're going to start with something very, very complex on, hello, donut guy. How are you doing today? You're going to do it to the donut guy too. What the hell? See if he's still there, right? See if he landed back up and put him on the conveyor belt, and let's find out. How long does it take? How much does it cost? 3 seconds, doesn't cost anything. All you're going to do is say, hello, how are you doing? I want everybody to do that, at least 5 names right now. And keep it to 5 for what we're going to do here, because I don't want you guys getting nuts and then get overwhelmed. Chanel, you good? Okay. And Michelle, how are you doing? You might be with customer 2.
Hey, Jim, good to see you. How you doing? You want to just, want to say hello? Okay, give me a call back. It's 713-304-5164. Thanks.
Say when, absolutely.
Oh my God. I heard tonight. Have you heard from? She dropped off. All right. So wrapping this up for the recording, because some people are going to want to be able to watch this. Once you've reached out to them, they're going to respond or they're not. Okay? Huh? Yeah, that's okay. And they're busy and they got life going on, and that's no issue whatsoever. That's why we do text message, because text message is a perfect medium where it can happen and then they can come back and you can be doing 1,000 different things, and you can do this in the cracks of your day. You don't have to take up time to do this. So send that text message, hi, how are you doing? They come back, great, how are you doing? I'm doing good. Then you get into what you checked for them. If it was health, then why did you check health? Down below health and wealth and time and charity, there's 2 lines. Right in there, what is it that they've got going on? Why did you think that they had an issue with the box that you checked? And then what you'll do is you'll start the conversation. Hey, how's it going? Do some small talk and then say, hey, I'm calling because I remember you mentioning that you had an issue with back pain. Are you still dealing with that? You had blood pressure issues back when we talked last. Are you still dealing with it? How's your diabetes going? How's your heart stuff going? How's your ADHD going? How's your PTSD going? How's Crohn's going? Lupus? The whole laundry list of different things that could be going on and why you check that box for them. And then listen to them, see what's going on, and keep digging in and finding out truly where they're at. They will most likely get to a point where they go, hey, I appreciate the call, but dude, you asked me like 47 questions about my blood pressure. Why are you asking? Well, man, I was thinking about you. I ran across some stuff. Might be something that would be helpful for you. Are you interested in taking a look at a different way of helping that issue? Do you want to fix it? Yes or no? No, man, I'm good. I got it all taken care of. Rock and roll, brother. That's just really the main reason. I just wanted to see. But if you got that going on, all good. Well, I said that fast. I might be in. What do you got going on? I said, I'll send you some info. Boom, just like that. So dig in, use the box that you checked, figure out the reason why you checked that box, and find out how they're doing with the reason that you checked that box for them. Well, Casey, I haven't talked to them in 20 years. I can't just jump right into that. No, you can't. It's time to build the relationship. How do you do that? If you haven't ran into somebody and you see them in the grocery store, what do? You say, hey, you want to start kayaking with me? No, that would be weird. You ask them how they're doing. How's their family? Are you married? What do you do for a living? Where do you work? Where do you live? Have y'all gone on any trips? What do you like to do for motivation or money? What do you like to spend your money on? Have you watched the Rockets? Find out stuff, see how they're doing. Build a relationship. That's what you need to be doing right now. When you identify the thing, see if they want to fix it. If they want to fix it, pass them over to the proof. The proof can be another person, or if it's on the customer side, a great thing that you can do is say, hey, if you're interested in fixing that, I've got an article I want you to read. I was looking on Facebook. There was this person that was dealing with the same thing that you're dealing with, and I thought of you. If I sent you and added you to that group, would you take a look at that article? If I, would you? And they said, no, I don't really want to do that. Cool, man. Keep dealing with what you're dealing with. I'm not. Next. Send them down the river. The key to this is you will not get rejected. They will reject helping themselves. Make sure you're crystal clear on that. You're not going to be rejected. They're not saying no to you. They're saying no that they don't want to fix the thing. Then you don't take that personal. When Sherry offered Tara a pillow and Tara said, no, I'm good. Did Sherry go, this sucks? She didn't want to sit on my pillow. No, she could care less. She offered her, doesn't want it. Cool, move on with your day. You're reaching out, talking to waiters. They come by when you're done eating your meal. They say, would you like some dessert? We got this beautiful cheesecake right here on the tray. Take a look at this. You go, I'm full, I'm good. I don't prefer any. You don't see them lose their mind, grab the tray of cheesecake, slam it against the wall, and go, oh my God, I quit. No, the dude didn't want cheesecake. Move on. And that's what we do. All right, I think we got some chat session here. Just also pop up. All right, cool deal. Very good. Okay, any questions from anybody? Good? Yeah. All right. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out for the recording, because I know y'all got my phone number here. Phone number is 832-771-0730. Don't hesitate to give me a call at any time. Reach out to us on Kindly Local or Power Hour. And with that, I'm going to stop the recording. Appreciate you guys tuning in. And I appreciate you all being here today.